What is good, my people, my peeps? How you guys doing this evening? I'm chilling. I'm chilling. This is just an open mic, open discussion today. If you hear some noise in the background, that's just me with some snacks. Just with some snacks. So I'm just checking in and see what you guys are up to. Okay. Checking to make sure we got audio popping. Yes, indeed. So, like I said, this is just an open discussion, open mic, open discussion. Nothing in particular today that I have on the agenda. Just seeing what you guys, how you guys' day has been. You know, if any topics you guys want to throw out there, feel free. Feel free to open up. This is what this type of live is for. Any type of topic, long as it's clean. Long as it's a clean topic. And so what I'm gonna start off with, because a lot, you know how I do. Sometimes, like I was telling you guys before, I wait too long to come and have a live discussion with you all. And then when I finally come on live, I wind up just talking too long and just throw all the topics in. Well, pretty much at the end of my live stream. So I decided whatever pops up on my mind, we're going to have a discussion. And so right now you're looking at the fireplace because I'm relaxed and I don't feel like really coming on screen. I don't think I should have to just do this live stream. So I hope you guys got a chance to see the video that I dropped regarding these vitamins, and they're very inexpensive. Hold on, let me show you. Let me see if I can. Right here. Did y'all see this video that I dropped not too long ago with these vitamins? So let me see. Let me see if that's blurry. Wipe the screen off. I dropped that video earlier because we're going to talk about health and stuff too. Hold on, let me make sure that's not too blurry. Okay, so let me show y'all again. So I dropped a video. I don't know if you guys got a chance to see this video with these vitamins. So I've been taking them. There's quite a bit still in here. Let me show you. I'm not big on a lot of pills, but when they're healthy and natural, I guess, I'm down. So they're about this big, they're in a capsule, one of those easy release gel-like capsules. And so let me tell y'all, as chosen ones and target individuals, we got to keep our health up, y'all. We have to keep our health together. So in this, it has some I've heard like of the sea moss before. Like you can buy the sea moss in a gel form, but I didn't know if I would like that. I didn't know if I would like that at all. And the black seed oil. Now I've tried black seed oil before. That's like the second thing in here. Let me tell you something. The black seed oil is strong. Okay, it is so doggone strong. And what else it has? Awagasta. I guess that's how you pronounce that. It's for your, it helps you to relax. They even have the jelly, like gummies that you can take with the awagasta, if I'm saying that right, and burdock root. So y'all check this out. They're inexpensive. You can get it. And I'm saying that because our health is something that's the wealth, really. Our health is the wealth. A lot of people think it's the money and things like that, but truly it's our health. That's why I think they target us so much, right, with health issues and things of that nature. That's just me. That's just my thoughts. So, like I said, I'm not big on taking a lot of vitamins and things like that, but I'm big on my health. So I said, well, let me start trying to get it together and learn about different supplements that really will help, you know, help us all. And if I find something that I feel that will be beneficial to you all, I want to share it. I want to share it with you guys. So um, I wanted to just go over that real quick before I forget about it. Um, and there's other health benefits that I try to discuss with you all. Um, I think, oh goodness, maybe it was like maybe a year ago or so. I was I came on live and I was telling you guys about some other health benefits that we as chosen ones and target individuals need to do, such as detox baths, take a bath in baking soda, or if you can get some Epsom salt. And there's a new Epsom salt that is better than what you might find in the health stores and things like that, or just in Walgreens, CVS. What is it, Dr. Miracle, or whatever his salts are. There's one that's more beneficial that you can soak in. And when I get that one, I'm gonna make sure to I'm gonna share it with you guys. So right now I'm gonna step away real quick, and I'm gonna come back and finish this discussion. I figure I just brush my hair in a ponytail, maybe come on live in my grandma in my grandma robe. And just this is just a chill discussion and conversation to see what's up with you all. Okay, so let me see what I have on here. Let's see. So I got stuff all open everywhere. Let me see. As I go brush my hair back, y'all can listen to this video. Hopefully you can hear it because I'm not moving nothing around. And I'll be back, and we're gonna have, like I said, open mic. It's an open mic night and discussion. Let's go. I'm gonna brush my hair real quick, y'all. First, try sea moss for amazing gut health. It's 92 essential minerals to help reduce bloating and get you back your energy. Next is black seed oil. Cleopatra took this ancient secret remedy for glorious hair, skin, and nails. Try taking it every day and watch your hair grow like crazy and skin begin to clear. Lastly, take ashwagandha. It works wonders to lower the stress hormone and cortisol to bring you peace. This right here combines all three of these natural healers in their purest form that will help you to be your best, plus a whole lot more. This is multi-mineral by Clean Nutrition, your daily dose of nature's best wellness. Just go to the TikTok shop below and you can purchase yours. The top 3 natural supplements each and every woman should be taking. First, try sea moss for amazing gut health. It's 92 essential minerals to help reduce bloating and get you back your energy. Next is black seed oil. Cleopatra took this ancient secret remedy for glorious hair, skin, and nails. Try taking it every day and watch your hair grow like crazy and skin begin to clear. Lastly, take ashwagandha. It works wonders to lower the stress hormone and cortisol to bring you peace. This right here combines all three of these natural healers in their purest form that will help you to be your best, plus a whole lot more. This is multi-mineral by Clean Nutrition, your daily dose of nature's best wellness. Just go to the TikTok shop below and you can purchase yours. The top 3 natural supplements each and every woman should be taking. First, try sea moss for amazing gut health. It's 92 essential minerals to help reduce bloating and get you back your energy. Next is black seed oil. Cleopatra took this ancient secret remedy for glorious hair, skin, and nails. Try taking it every day and watch your hair grow like crazy and skin begin to clear. Lastly, take ashwagandha. It works wonders to lower the stress hormone and cortisol to bring you peace. This right here combines all three of these natural healers in their purest form that will help you to be your best, plus a whole lot more. This is multi-mineral by Clean Nutrition, your daily dose of nature's best wellness. Just go to the TikTok shop below and you can purchase yours. The top 3 natural supplements each and every woman should be taking. First, try sea moss for amazing gut health. It's 92 essential minerals to help reduce bloating and get you back your energy. Next is black seed oil. Cleopatra took this ancient
nature's best wellness. Just go to the TikTok shop below and you can purchase yours. The top 3 natural supplements each and every woman should be taking. First, try sea moss for amazing gut health. It's 92 essential minerals to help reduce bloating and get you back your energy. Next is black seed oil. Cleopatra took this ancient secret remedy for glorious hair, skin, and nails. Try taking it every day and watch your hair grow like crazy and skin begin to clear. Lastly, take ashwagandha. It works wonders to lower the stress hormone cortisol release. This right here combines all 3 of these natural healers in their purest form that will help you to be your best, plus a whole lot more. This is Multi-Mineral by Clean Nutra, your daily dose of nature's best wellness. Just go to the TikTok shop below and you can purchase yours.
this. Y'all listen to this one more again, and then we'll get into the conversation. I'm about to go get me some eye patches.
The top 3 natural supplements each and every woman should be taking. First, try sea moss for amazing gut health. It's 92 essential minerals to help reduce bloating and get you back to energy. Next is black seed oil. Cleopatra took this ancient secret remedy for glorious hair, skin, and nails. Try taking it every day and watch your hair grow like crazy and skin begin to clear. Lastly, take ashwagandha. It works wonders to lower the stress hormone cortisol to bring you peace. This right here combines all 3 of these natural healers in their purest form that will help you to be your best, plus a whole lot more. This is Multi-Mineral by Clean Nutri, your daily dose of nature's best wellness. Just go to the TikTok shop below and you can purchase yours.
Okay, guys. Look. Give me a minute. So what y'all were listening to, I don't know if you guys could hear it or not, because I had y'all close, was the information about those vitamins that I posted earlier with the sea moss. I'm about to move y'all. Hold on, I'm about to turn this off real quick. I'll hold tight while I move you over here. Like I said, it's just an open mic night. If you have anything you want to discuss, anything that's on your mind, make it plain. Make it plain. Well, I recap really quick about these vitamins real that I have over here. I can't say that I am a expert on these vitamins and these supplements. I'm trying to learn as I share and try to educate you all. So what I'm gonna do, oh no, let me turn this around real quick. I see my cup of ice. Let me get that over here. Turn the camera around. Like I said, I'm chilling. Don't judge me. Don't judge me. Let me see. I don't even know if the camera, did it come back on? Hold on, y'all. I got some hey! There it is. How you guys doing? Like I said, ooh, this light bright. Let me turn it down. Like I said, don't judge me. What I'm getting ready to do is put some eye patches on and have an open mic discussion. Hold on. Shit. Let me move y'all this way. Goodness, that made bright. It's beaming. Hold on. So you have something to say, something that's on your mind. This is the perfect time to say it. Or drop in a topic, even if it's something you don't want to, not necessarily referring to you, you know. Okay, y'all, I want y'all to check these out. If you ain't got TikTok, get one. If you ain't got TikTok, get a TikTok ASAP so you can get these supplements.
First, try sea moss for amazing gut health. It's 92 essential minerals to help reduce bloating and get you back your energy. Next is black seed oil. Cleopatra took this ancient secret remedy for glorious hair, skin, and nails. Try taking it every day and watch your hair grow like crazy and skin begin to...
It has the burdock root in there. And like I was saying, I don't know like all the ingredients. I'm just now taking it, but the sea moss, I heard it's good for your overall health. And black seed oil also is good for your overall health, guys. So what I'm gonna do is put on these doggone eye patches. So what I'm doing, I'm trying to do stuff to just be more healthy. So if you have something to say, say it. Or you can just watch. Or you can just watch me chill. Because today is chill. Chill day is the end of Sabbath. So I'm about to just do a little. We got to take care of ourselves as much as possible. I know a lot of people, they don't believe in the spiritual realm, but the spiritual realm does exist, and people don't understand like when what's associated with demonic attacks and things of that nature is your health. Your health. So that's why I'm sharing the stuff I'm sharing what you got. The supplements. And if you can, and I know that I don't even want to hear that you can't afford because you're a targeted target individual. You know, I hear that excuse. The Dollar Tree is everybody's friend. Let me say that one more again. The Dollar Tree is everyone's friend. Okay? And I know it's $1.25 right now, but still. That's affordable. That's affordable. And they even have eye patches and stuff. And this is just from, I'm doing it because of me just being tired and looking tired. Just to brighten my under eyes up. Because when you're tired and you haven't got a lot of rest, then you start getting dark eyes, dark circles, and being sleep deprived causes, dark rings and things under your eyes, and other things cause it too. But like I said, the Dollar Tree has all of these things that you can get, guys. So, just a brief discussion on health and the pills, the vitamins that I dropped earlier today. I wanted to share that with you guys. We're going to talk about something other than targeting. So I'm going to move you guys over here. I'm moving y'all around a lot today. Because I want you guys to see. We're going to just have some discussions on different topics and what I've been seeing on social media. Just let me set this up real quick. Okay, I'll turn y'all off real quick so that I can turn y'all around and y'all can see instead of watching me just do healthcare. We're gonna go over here to TikTok and just like I said, open discussion about different topics and what other people are talking about today in the world. We're going to talk about inner earth. And I want you guys to see this particular, it's a short video real quick. We're going to talk about inner earth. Let me write it down so I won't forget these two topics. Inner earth. I'll tell you the other one in a minute. There's one more I wanted to talk about. Inner earth is and stealing content. Okay, so let me turn this camera back around. Okay, guys. Set this up so I can see this. Let me turn this light off because I cannot see. It's blinding me. Okay, that's better. Have you guys heard the topic of inner earth and people talking about inner earth, and that this topic pretty much goes along with the flat earth theory, but just like when it comes to religion and things of that nature, are biblical teachings, people tend to pick and choose what they what they want to learn and what topics suit them. And instead of, I believe sometimes people aren't really searching for the truth of it all. They're just searching for whatever benefits them, So this is just a quick short about this. Let me just play it. Let's get into it. Let you hear it. Turn it up. Hold on, let me go back. Oh no, I lost it. God dog it. Gotta be more careful.
Like it's almost like it'll be like
I want to see the purge. Let me see if I can get back to it, y'all.
Bane between.
I go down.
I'm pondering.
Let me see. Here we go.
Why does this look familiar?
These people inside the Hollow Earth been living there for 2,500 years. There is one continent inside the Earth and one ocean. Their capital city is built around the original lost Garden of Eden.
Wait, hold up, Captain. Hold up, Captain. Say that again. I just saw this clip, and it's kind of cool, but I want him to say it again. And it wants to go to the next video. I don't like when they set their videos up like this. So I'm going to pause it, and we're going to just talk about what we just heard. So what this gentleman was saying is that inner Earth, they found, these cities. And, in the Bible, it talks about when Adam and Eve were kicked out of the Garden of Eden, and then there were angels that were placed at the entrance of the garden. They couldn't enter back into the garden, right? But nobody really has ever found the Garden of Eden to this day. And so they're saying that these photos that we just saw briefly are referencing, this inner Earth and cities inside the Earth and the Garden of Eden. I thought that was interesting. I said, let me talk about this, because inner Earth also deals with shield, however you pronounce it, just to make it plain, hell. Hell. It's not hell. Actually, it's hell in the sense of this is like in the inner Earth, and it's talked about in Enoch. Enoch talks about it, and I believe hold on, let me see if I kept a picture. Let me go to my photos and see if I kept that photo, because I wanted to talk about that as well. So let me see. Really quick, or it might be on. Oh, I did keep it. All right. Cooking with grease today. Okay. So, right here. I hope you guys can see it. There we go. Get it real close. So this is an actual drawing, or to give you an idea of how Earth is really, or what as Earth is really supposed to be like, and especially according to the Bible. I'm trying to get this whole thing in here. I don't know why it always seems like it's off to me. There it is. Let's bring it in a little closer. All right, there we go. So we just saw the video where the man was saying, that there's life inside the Earth, okay? And I know a lot of people have been taught, including myself, that there is the Earth is hollow with a magma core, right? That the core of the Earth is hot. There's nothing but a ball of fire. That's what a lot of us were taught in school. But now and this has been going on for a while, that the flat Earth against the people who were taught that we are on a globe, right? Our Earth is a big ball. And so there's been this debate between the flat earthers and the people who believe that our world is a sphere, a circular shape. But in the biblical text, it talks about how, um, especially when it's referring to God's chosen people, how He scattered them to the four corners of the earth. Now, if you listen to that, when it says He scattered them to the four corners of the earth, then you know that a ball does not have corners, right? And um, and then and the earth sits on pillars, okay? And so this is basically that depiction of the earth and hell. So, and then Enoch also says that there are beings that live in the inner earth as well. So this would be the firmament above, the waters above that gives you your firmament, and the waters beneath. So in that earlier video we just watched, a little clip that we just saw on TikTok, he was saying that there's an ocean in the inner earth and so on and so forth, right? But this is shield. I said shield, SHEAL or OL. People say hell, but I don't believe that they are talking about the bottomless pit. The bottomless pit, okay? This is what Enoch refers to, that there are demons and devils and chained up here. And a lot of people do not refer to hell as that place, the same place that Enoch refers to it in the biblical sense. So I wanted to show you guys this picture so you kind of can get the idea when I say, look, you going past hell, you going to Sheol, okay? Right here, the bottomless pit, okay? A lot of people don't discuss or don't say it because a lot of people don't talk about inner earth and that there's actual other beings and life in the inner earth. And for some people, when they talk about outer space, like when we look into the outer space, it actually would be considered your second heaven, because your first heaven is the sky. So outer space would be your second heaven. Outer space would be past the firmament, because this right here, this brick wall thing is like the firmament, right? It's giving you, so that's the sky. You see all of this that's in here. You see how it's the sun, the stars, the moon, and then they depict it as a brick, like a shield. This shield holds in your atmosphere, your sky, your sun, your moon, all that's inside the firmament. It's not outside. But then when you pass outside of the firmament, that will be your second heaven, right? And then your third, different dimensions, like I've been explaining to you all. Some people believe that going in outer space is not actually going out, but it's going in, down into the oceans, the ocean waters that are under here. This is your outer space region right in here, okay? Going down is actually going into outer space right here. It depicts your ocean waters. And so it's just interesting to me that we're finding out so much in this end times as far as learning, and people, I think, and this is just my opinion, I think people are going to have a hard time really understanding about different dimensions and inner space actually having life forms other than us, because some people's egos are they're so strong that they can't believe that there's intelligent life forms other than themselves, right? Last week I did a short introduction to something that I want to bring to you guys, talking about revelations, and this is basically a form of revelation in this day and time for a lot of people, understanding that it's not really hell, it's shield, Enoch has talked about this area, this dark pit, this dark hole. It's been mentioned not only in the book of Enoch, but in biblical texts, but definitely in the book of Enoch, he mentions that there's other beings, right? In inner earth and outer space and all of these different things like that. People are waking up and some of them are being shocked to this understanding. Some of them don't believe that it's true. And so I talked to you guys about Revelations, the Anunnaki. Hold on for a minute. Let me pull that up real quick. So we can go to my page really quick. So let me pull that up. Let me see. Just hold tight. That's the live stream. Okay, so last week I did a talk on Revelations Anunnaki. This word right here. It's a buzz on the streets, right? Anunnaki exposed. I did this talk, and I'm not the first to bring this information out. I'm just one of the few that when I awoke to being a Hebrew, knowing that I am an Israelite, I haven't heard any other Hebrew Israelites uh, uh, talk about the Anunnaki. Matter of fact, people were making fun of this, just the word Anunnaki, as if it was not true, right? And a lot of people, they'll pull up, videos and just let the video run and not talk about or go into depth or show people where they can find out the definitions, where these words are, the origin of the word Anunnaki. And so in this particular video, that's exactly what I did. I went in depth talking about Anunnaki. And basically, that was going into the dictionary, going into a Bible, and we found out that Anunnaki was mentioned in the Bible, and so on and so forth. So I don't want to make this drawn out regarding this video. If you want to watch the full video, you can go into my archives and pull this up. It's under the live stream. So when you go in, look under the live streams. So at the end of this video, come to find out that we know Anunnaki just in general is a term for angels. Okay? And so that's what it means. Are beings from the outer planets, the outer space, right? The heaven. Okay? That's what the word Anunnaki actually means. And so, with that being said, when I did further research on the Anunnaki, the beings that came down from heaven, my goodness. Now, that's right there, that is a rabbit hole. That information, I believe, will shake up so many people. And who it really will shake up, and sometimes just to be the first to say something kind of can shake and rattle your nerves. But it must be said, if we all, if you watched this video, found out that Anunnaki was mentioned in the Bible, we also found out who first mentioned this word Anunnaki, and then we know that the Sumerians mentioned Anunnaki. And then I told you guys that within the Bible, the woman at the well, she was Sumerian. She was a Sumerian woman, right? And so the first people on the planet to have writings are, you know, to document uh, what you know as your biblical text are the Sumerians, who also coined this term Anunnaki, from the Anunnakis. Okay, the people from the heavens. Okay, which the word basically means the people from the heavens, angels. That's what the word Anunnaki came from, and the first humans to mention the word Anunnaki were the Sumerians, and I helped you guys link the Sumerians to who we know as Israel, because Israelites were in Samaria. Okay, and so that's how you get the link of the Anunnakis being in your biblical text, because the books that you have, the Bible, which you have, um, like I've said before, has been rewritten, it has been edited, it has been used for oppression, for whoever it is needed to oppress, whoever gets their hands on it, who the powers that be will rewrite it just like they're rewriting the Bible right now. Okay, and so it is so funny if you go and you study the Anunnaki and the who were the Anunnakis, because the text, everything that you are reading basically in your Bible that we know of today, comes from the ancient scrolls and the emerald tablets, which were provided in this information through the Anunnakis and the Sumerian people. And the Sumerian people were a combination of Israelites, okay, biblical Hebrews, okay. So people stop at just the Bible, right, and the text in the Bible. That some people they stay away. They they do not. They can't relate, because how many times the Bible has been edited. Okay, the Bible has been edited. That's all I can say, and you can tell that when you even start from Genesis. And let me grab my Bible real quick. And I'm going to give you an example of that, why people seem to why they feel that they can't trust the Bible, or they say that man wrote the Bible. Well, they did write and edit and compiled the Bible that you know of today, but actually the information came down with the Anunnaki, the people from heaven. Okay, and this is just different terms that we know this word Anunnaki to come from the Sumerians. And in Samaria, the beginning of the written word, right, comes from Samaria, and we know Samaria has Israelites, right? Because we broke it down if you go back and watch this, because the woman at the well was Israel. So if y'all give me a minute, what I'm gonna do is I gotta go get my Bible, and while I do that, I'm gonna let this kind of just play, and then I'm gonna come back in, because this is like a recap, but we're gonna break something down. It's gonna be kind of shocking, so let me let this play. I'm gonna let this play until I'm ready. I'll be right back. My people, my peeps, how are you guys doing today? I hope today has been good for you. It's been a much better day for me. So let me just put that on the table right now. I just came out to get me something to eat. But while I'm out here, guys, I think I want to start a series called Revelations. And then whatever the title And the reason behind me wanting to start a series called Revelations is because a little bit of what I came to you guys about last night, just being so overwhelmed with thoughts and, what's going on. And instead of being overwhelmed, just say what the thoughts that are coming to me, I think I just should be able to express those thoughts and ideals. And the reason why I want to title it Revelations, because we know from the definition, revelations means to reveal. And with me saying that revelations means to reveal, I'm going to reveal something about the Anunnaki tonight. The Anunnaki exposed. Yes. So the title of this live stream is called Revelations, the Anunnaki Exposed. And these are thoughts that I have had regarding the Anunnaki, because in the times that we're in, there's an abundance of information. And that word has been tossed out, and it's just being kicked around on social media. And I've heard it come from people who are knowledgeable and have studied, regarding the Anunnaki and things of that nature. And then I've heard of people who are just kind of regurgitating what they heard. They're parakeeting, right? They're like a parrot. They hear the information and then they're just saying exactly the information that they may have heard from someone who considers themselves in that field as an expertise on the subject matter. Okay, so we have a lot of moving parts when it comes to the Anunnaki. And so even with myself, I have mentioned Nubaru, right? The destroyer. And with me mentioning Nubaru, a lot of what you may hear on social media, they have the Anunnaki associated with Nubaru, the planet, the destroyer that's in the sky. Remember the second sun? Some call it the red Kachina. Many, many different definitions for planet Nubaru. Or is it a spacecraft? So there's many definitions, many reasons why people feel a certain way about it. But today, and so I want you to understand why I'm coming to tell you the revelation that I have come across, and it's deep, guys. This is deep. So when I tell you, before you buckle up tight, you see I have them buckle up. You're gonna need to buckle up tight, but before you do that, get comfortable. Go get you something to drink, some juice, something to eat, to snack on, because I don't know how long this live stream is going to go, but I'm going to try to get out the revelation that I came across when I looked into the word Anunnaki, okay? Because I don't want to be one of those people that parakeet, that just regurgitates information that I have heard without doing my own research, and truly without, after doing my research, asking for the Most High's guidance and giving me wisdom to dispense this word correctly, and so that you can go back and do the research regarding the Anunnaki. So today they're exposed. The Anunnaki are exposed, and you know that, and so now I have to tell you, get ready. I hope you went and got your snacks, your chips, whatever, got the kids, situated. And so now I need you to hold on and buckle up tight, because this is going to be a ride. It's going to be a roller coaster, but it's going to be eye-opening, because it blew me away. Let me turn on some light. It literally blew me away when started digging regarding the Anunnaki. I knew about Nubaru, okay? Knew about that. And I've heard about the Anunnaki. And I've watched people in their field. What's going on, sir? Okay, we're moving now. I've watched people in their particular field who have studied the Anunnaki. And so, without further ado, I have to start off with, and you already know, I had a vision about maybe 10 months ago. This vision has nothing to do with the Anunnaki. Or maybe it does. Or maybe it does. I'll let you be the judge of that, okay? So, what I'm not going to do, I would never intentionally try to put anybody down because they use terminology that they've heard, and to make myself boast myself up or place myself on a pedestal, would never do that. Okay, so I want understanding, and I hope the people on my platform also are seeking for understanding. Not
right.
only,
I hope y'all looking for understanding, because that's what you're going to get over here. It's a journey of finding out the doggone truth. Let me pause up for
that
the
you
car.
are in, and we know it as
Let me
the
pause before the
matrix.
cars. Hold
They
on.
got the salad.
Pause. Okay. Hold on. I'm trying to get back around. So, like I said, don't y'all judge me. I'm chilling. Okay? Okay, so you can go back and you can look at that full video. Let me turn this light down, kind of give it. Okay, so you can go back and you can look at the full video. We just talked about a video, a quick video I just showed you guys on TikTok, the tick to the top, right? And talked about other beings living in the inter-earth. And that also, and it also said about the Garden of Eden, right? Because we've not found the Garden of Eden. It's been hidden away. And it also has been guarded by angels, right? That were placed at the Garden of Eden when Adam and Eve were kicked out. And so I took you guys back. So we went there just so you can get an understanding. And I said a lot of people don't feel that the Bible is real because man has, had their grubby hands on it, and they've used it for their benefit. They've used it for control and oppression, right? Okay. So, which is true. This thing has been rewritten. And my goodness, if I did a deep study on how this Bible, although even as knowing that I am Israel, a Hebrew, that the Hebrews were running. Remember when they scattered and ran to the hills when the desolation took place, and Rome came in, and so the Hebrews, they scattered, they ran to the hillsides, but some of them were captured. But Rome has their grubby hands on the Bible. Still to this day, the Roman Catholic Church still has their hands on this word. Okay, and when I found that out, which I kind of knew, but I have yet to hear really anyone from
the Hebrew side, the awakened Hebrew side, talk about it, okay? And also just in general, um, talk about what's really going on with the word and why people are hesitant to really follow it. So I want to give you a for instance, and I want you to take notes too, because I went to the Anunnaki, right? I pointed out the Anunnaki is just a term. It's mentioned in the Bible. Um, and so, hold on, just so I can go to my quick notes. If you want to find out where that was mentioned in the Bible regarding the Anunnaki. Remember, I took notes that day in the car. I don't playing with y'all. Even though I might write them and scribbly, I glue them down, okay? So I recap. So the Anunnaki actually is mentioned in Numbers 13:33, and it's the Anak, okay? So when you are looking for an origin of words and different things of that nature, because everything has an origin. It just didn't appear out of nowhere, out of clear blue sky, okay? Everything has an origin. And the Anunnaki and the term Anunnaki was first coined, you'll find that information from the Sumerian text, okay? And the Sumerian texts are the people who are from Samaria, the first writings of civilization, okay? And what I did in that video that you just watched is I connected Israel to Samaria. So there were Israelites in Samaria, the first place of knowledge being actually written down, the first place where the emerald tablets were written, where you get information about the great flood, Noah. But in the Sumerian text, in the emerald tablets, his name is not Noah. Okay, so those are the first editing that you will get to understand. You have to go back further than just looking at the words in here, because the names and the words were changed. Okay, all right, so you can find that information regarding the Anak and the giants of the land in Numbers 13:33. And then the way I helped you to connect that is talking to you guys about the woman at the well, and how in our society, if you've ever gone to any church or anything like that, they focus on the woman at the well having, 5 husbands, and Yahweh Shai, known as Jesus, telling this woman about her 5 husbands. You see, and that teaching, and where you miss out from that teaching, if you've ever heard sermons about the woman at the well, you miss out on the connection of Samaria. The biggest point of it all was Samaria, that she was a family member, that the Yahweh Shai went to talk to this woman first, because he's come to get his people first, right? And then the Gentiles, if they follow, the laws, statutes, and commandments. That was lost. Okay. First, he went to her because she was a Jew. Second thing that was misconstrued based on the rewriting of this book known as the Bible was her having 5 husbands. And you might say, well, why was that misconstrued? Because that was the focus. The focus was on her having 5 husbands, just like, let me give you today's example. With men's, their focus on a lot of women today is, what is your body count? Okay. So although the preachers and things that wasn't the terminology in the scriptures that they may have said, and the sermons, that they may have said over their pulpits, with your body count. That's the message that they gave. about the woman at the well and her having 5 husbands. But that was not the message that was intended. The message was telling her, he was discerning to her, he knew her life story, okay? And he knew something about her that she would only know deeply, okay? And so with this world that we, as we know it today, we know that we are in a patriotic world, not patriotic, but the world is ran by the men, right? Make it plain. And so, with that being said, a lot of scriptures are not actual. The Bible. Let me say this: if you've ever watched a movie, right? If you've ever watched a movie, and even if it's a real story, okay? When people write movie scripts, they will take the information of the real story, but then they add fillers, okay? They will add fillers into it to make the story more interesting, or even if somebody got a hold of somebody's real life story, and they wanted to profit off of that, they'll take that story, use the real life information, but they will put in filler information to make the story sway in whichever way they want to have it sway in, to probably make the story more dramatize the story a little more, or make the story sad, or make the story to use it to oppress people. So they'll put filler information inside or in between the real information. And so that's what you have with the Bible. You have a lot of filler information that is not step by step information. And so what I want to do really quick, I hope that this live stream does not is not, it doesn't go too long. I want to show you an example of filler information and how the patriotic society that we live in, the men who have run the society, and I know I know whoever hears this, they're not gonna like this, but it's true. The Roman Catholic Church are the editors of the Bible, and I'm going to just get into showing you the proof of. There's so many controversial and confusing things in the Bible, and it's not that they're confusing because you don't understand the word of the Bible. It's confusing because of the editing that has taken place regarding the Bible, and regarding the Bible being used as a tool of oppression. Okay, so let me see if I can, because I didn't have it actually saved. I'm going to talk about, what I'm getting ready to show you is one of the main confusing parts of the Bible for a lot of people. I got to get both breakdowns really quick. And remember Anunnaki, okay? Remember Anunnaki. Because Samaria is the first place where the emerald tablets were written on, and the first place that humans wrote in scrolls and on these emerald tablets, which gave you your Bible, your information that you know of today. But they didn't give it word for word, and they edited it. They put in filler to make the story run like a novel, okay? To make it have more of a swaying of how they actually want society to run as well. So hold on for a minute. Might do this one. My pointer, doggone pointer fell. Yeah, hold on. Quick second. Hopefully I can get it together here. I have so many notes in here from stuff I want to talk to you guys about, so everything is everywhere. Okay, so I found it. I found one of them. Hold on for a minute. Okay. Okay, so what I have to have you guys understand also before I get into this confusion in the Bible as well is the Bible is when it uses the word man, that encompasses women and men. Okay, also when it in the beginning, Adam was used for man and woman. So this is if you haven't studied the Bible for yourself, you will not even find or pick up on these two texts in two different places that confuses a lot of people. Okay, um, and then we're going to go back to because this what I'm going to point out here is also going to lead back into Samaria and the Anunnaki. Okay. So let me see. Also, I have to say this too. Studying in that video, when I broke down titles, when I said God is a title, it's not the name of God, right? Um, and the word God, when you go back to the where the term or the title or the word God comes from, what is the origin of God? Okay. Um, and when the Bible was written, instead of, like I said, the fillers that are in the Bible, where you see the word God, it actually, there were from the old Hebrew, even if you don't even go as far as the Samaritan writings, right? Um, but even the terminology that was written for God, Elohim, when you go back and you break down Elohim, it was multiple gods. I know, it's shocking. But you have to do your own research, guys. You and some people won't because you're stuck. You're stuck. You're capped. Um, so God in the biblical text, and I'll try to pull it up so that you won't just hear it from a female, because a lot of men are stuck. They're capped. Okay. So you won't just hear it from me. You'll hear it from people who are actually scholars and who actually have studied the etymology of words, okay? And so God, when you see it written in the Bible, they put the word God in from the substitute of Elohim, from Elohim meaning more gods, okay? And so I'm going to just read this first sentence so you can understand how what I say is the confusing part right here for a lot of people. And this is just part of my point. Where this is Genesis. Hold on. So I'm in Genesis chapter 1 and verse 26. So this is Genesis chapter 1 verses 26, and this is to show you the confusion that people have and why they don't believe in the Bible. Okay, because of how many times the Bible has been edited and fillers have been put in the Bible. Okay, Genesis chapter 1 verse 26, and God said, let us make man in our image. Okay, just from that first sentence alone is confusing. It's confusing for those who are seeking understanding and knowledge and the truth. Just that sentence alone is confusing because it says, and God said, let us, okay, make man in our image. Okay, although image is singular because because they did not add an S to the word image, to make it image is making in our images, right? In our image, right? It's confusing because it said, let us. Who is us, first of all? If God, from what we know it, as one God, right? Who is us? And our, it says our image, O-U-R. That's more than one person, okay? So even right then and there is a confusing statement, okay? Genesis chapter 1 verse 26, and God said, let us make man in our image after our likeness, and let them, okay, and let them, okay, I'm going to stop there. I'm going to try to break this down because this example that I'm giving you is just one of many examples out of the Bible, and this is the King James Version. just so you can see. Right here, it's in leather. This is the King James Version, okay? What makes it confusing for a lot of people, and why you have the patriarchy not addressing this, because they are still asleep, a lot of them, and don't want to address the truth of the whole matter. Okay, so let me continue. Let us make them and let us make them have dominion over the fish of the sea and over the fowl of the air and over the cattle and over all the earth and over every creeping thing that creepeth upon the earth. So I'm going to read that one more time, okay? Because that paragraph has a lot of contradicting statements in it right then and there. Genesis chapter 1, verse 26. And God said, let us make man in our image, after our likeness, and let them, okay? So let them have dominion over the fish of the sea and over the fowl of the air and over the cattle and over all the earth and over every creeping thing that creepeth upon the earth. Now, when we hear about Genesis, and when it gets to this area in Genesis, when it's talking about the creation of man, okay, a lot of us think that from Genesis, that Adam was created first solely by himself. And then Eve came along. Then God took Adam's rib and created Eve, okay, from the side of Adam's rib, okay? And then Eve was there. But when you read this text, it says, God said, first of all, let us. Remember, the word God is from Elohim. Elohim is from multiple gods. I know it's shocking. It blows you away. But when you read it with Elohim, or if you understand that Elohim means there was multiple gods, okay? And for the Roman Catholics, for them to have the one Godhead, they put the title God here. And wherever you see the word God, they wanted it to represent one Godhead. Okay, not the Trinity, multiple gods. Okay, so that is why there is so much confusion when the Bible is read, because people don't go all the way back and look up the words and what words mean and where did they come from, where did they originate from. Hold on. So in the beginning, God said, let us make man. If you read that in the beginning, hello, Ashley. Hello. How you doing? So in the beginning, if God said, let us make man, if you said in the beginning, God's said, because there's a conversation being had. God wasn't talking to himself. Okay? Let us make man. Let us make man in our image. In our image. There's multiple gods. You see, the Roman Catholics have always had an issue with some things in their church. Okay, some things that has caused them to hurt and harm children. And one of these things is they've had an oppression of women, first and foremost, in their church, right? And so when priests become priests, they are not allowed to marry. Okay. And so there has been this, it's been a tool used against understanding. How can I say this? I just should just spit it out because it should be just known. But I know that waking up to a lot of truth, it can be startling. It can be startling. But they just have oppressed their female counterpart. Okay, so let me say it like that. They have oppressed their female counterpart. So they say there's just one God. There wasn't other gods, and they were male. The God is only a male God. Okay, no female attributes at all when it came to God. Okay, other than He created Eve. Okay, and when you start to research, and I mean you have to do your studies, guys. Um, you'll find out otherwise. So I'm going to try to get you down to some research that I was doing regarding words and where they originate from and so on and so forth. So hold on, I should have saved it for you guys. So hopefully I can pull it up. And you can hear it, you can listen to it. When I finish this. Okay, yes, I have it. So we'll listen to that in a few minutes. So you can understand the term God when it comes to the Bible. And this is deep. This may be a little long because I don't have it saved to an exact point. But if you're interested and you want to know the truth, then you'll listen to the broadcast in its fullness. Okay, entirety. Okay, so Genesis chapter 1, verse 26. And God said, let us make man in our image after our likeness, and let them have. Who is the them when he's just thinking of Adam? Who is them? First of all, who is them? Because in the Bible it says Adam was first. So who is them? Let them, okay, have, where am I at? Let them have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the fowl of the air, and over the cattle and over all of the earth, and over the creeping and the crawly creatures, basically. So I'm going to skip down to 27. Well, 27, I didn't skip far. And so God created man in his own image. In the image of God created him. Now, this is what people overlook. And when I say people, because the people who mostly preach this Bible are men. So I'm sure they overlook explaining this in the text. And this is in Genesis, guys. Hello, Melanin. Greetings to you. Greetings to you. I saw in like your commercial. Thank you to Sea Boss. Yes, thank you. And Sea Boss, I'm trying to get healthy too, right? Preach, okay. So I'm just trying to share what I've learned and what has been overlooked, and the oppression that this Bible has been used for, okay, and what is there's truth in here, but the editing of this word has only been used for the benefit of the people who are in rulership at the time. Okay, so this is, and I'm just pointing this confusing fact out because men who preach this word do not they don't tackle this part, and it's in Genesis right at the beginning. Okay, so let's get into it. So God created man, and remember I said sometimes in the word when you hear man, the Most High is referring to man and woman, not just the man as just a male. Okay, so and you'll see that confusion right here after the editing of the word that they did. So God created man in his own image. In the image of God created him. Him, man and female, created them both. Okay? And God blessed them. And God said unto them, be fruitful and multiply and replenish the earth and subdue it, okay, and have dominion over the fish of the sea and over the fowl of the air and over every living thing that moveth upon the earth. And hold on, let me see. And behold, I have given you every herb and seed. So no. So right there, it said God created man and woman both. And a lot of people look over this, or they themselves try to insert extra information in what it was just said in Genesis. God, Elohim, the multiple gods, created man and woman at the same time. What? It's shocking. What? And so the confusing part, let me go into where it confuses people. It confuses people who really are studying the word. And then they say, oh, this is garbage. The Bible is garbage. It's paste together. It's copy and paste or paste and erase. So we'll go, I want you to skip to, we're going to go to Genesis chapter 5, and then I'm going to read it and then break it down. This is the book of Genesis, the Genesis of Adam. And remember, I said atom, the word atom was actually used for man and woman, just like the word man was actually sometimes referencing man and woman as together as a whole, just like Adam is referencing man and woman, but sometimes people separate that with Adam as the man, Eve as the woman. Okay, so this is the book of the generations of Adam in the day that God created man. In the likeness of God made him. Man, male and female created he them, and blessed them, and called their name Adam. Let me read that again, because I know that might have went over your head, because I just said it before. Genesis chapter 5, verse 1 in chapter 5. This is the book of the generation of Adam. In the day that God created man, in the likeness of God, which we know when it says God, Elohim, when it says God, multiple gods, you get that from the emerald tablets, from its original, from the original word of understanding where this title of God comes from. But anyway, let's continue. In the likeness of God made he him. Male and female created he them, and blessed them, and called their name Adam. Not just Adam, called their name Adam. When we hear their, Their, their name. That is putting two as one. He called their name Adam. When you talk about a couple and they have children, those are their children. Their children. They're putting them together there. Okay? So, and it says that right here, called their name Adam, in the day when they were created. So Eve and Adam actually were called Adam. Okay? And so a lot of people always, now I've heard, because they have to get out of the mind of women, that they were created at the same time that Adam was created. Um, that's what they can't have that, because they have to have this hierarchy, okay? And not really, if you're not really searching for truth, then you'll go with the fillers. Okay, you'll believe the fillers that are in here, and even the words that contradict the teaching. Okay, so they'll tell you about Lilith. They'll tell you that, oh, there was a woman created at the same time with Adam, but she was so defiant that this woman named Lilith got kicked out of the garden because she was a defiant woman, and God kicked her out of the garden and turned her into a demon. Let's get into it. Turned her into a demon, and then put Adam back to sleep and created Eve. You'll hear that story if you're searching. You'll hear about Lilith. Okay, and that is to get you away from the concept, to get you, the public, the mass public, away from the concept that possibly God created man and woman at the same time. Okay, but there's more mind-blowing information other than God creating man and woman at the same time. And I don't know if I want to even give that information to you tonight. But there's other information that would blow you away if you truly want to study. Hold on. And no. And if not, don't open, stick to this Bible alone, because if you open any other text, such as Enoch and any other books that they have taken out of the Bible, then the truth will be revealed to you. And well, for some people, the truth will set them free, and for some people, they might sink into madness because they've been taught lies. They have been taught lies, guys. Okay, I'm going to put this up here. Reading the Bible as a child seems weird. What is that? Gay to man. Hold on. I got a light right here. Let's see if I can turn it down some. Ooh, dang. Turn it off. Okay. That'll help me read. It's like reading with a backlight on. Oh, yes. Yes, indeed. Oh, the video was freezing up. The video was freezing. I hope you guys. Oh, I don't even know where I last stopped at. Hold on. Let me check.
I have come home and I have stood at the base of the steps.
The video froze. Oh no. I gotta go back and see where it froze at. And woman in. Oh, preach. Woman and man. I gotta go back and see where the video froze at. Hold on for one moment. Oh. I don't know. I don't even know what you guys heard, because I'd hate to keep going and it doesn't make any sense, you know? Let me check and see. Let me see. Let me see. Let me see. Where did I leave off at? To use it to oppress me. So let me see. There was multiple gods. Okay. Okay. Y'all got that. And for that point, got that point. Over the cattle and over all of the earth and over the creepy. What it was just said in Genesis. God, Elohim, the multiple gods created man and woman. Okay, so Elohim. Y'all got. Hopefully it'll come together. I'll just have to come and do this more professional. If it doesn't make any sense, but I'm gonna keep it going. I'm gonna keep the party going. Okay. So let me turn on the. Oh, should I turn the light back on? I can't see the comments clear when I have that light on, but when I don't have the light on, it seems like it's so dark in here. Okay, so that's just one of the confusions I wanted to. One of the where the Bible contradicts itself when it comes to Adam and Eve in their creation. Okay, because it's saying that you know. Let me see. Before I even get out of the Bible, hold on for a minute. I want to point something out. Hold on. Okay, so before I close out from the contradiction, right? I have to show you and tell y'all in Genesis. In Genesis, where I was at, that you can go back and get this information, and you can see the contradiction that just one of many that's in the Bible, because of the hands that have been in this. In the words and putting fillers in. Go to Genesis chapter 1, and then you'll go to verse 26 through 27. Okay, and if you go to verse 26 through 27, that's going to first start off with where it says, God said, let us make man in our image. Let us make man in our image, after our likeness, and let them have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the fowl of the air, and over the cattle, and over all the earth, and over every creeping thing that crawleth upon the earth. Now this, he hadn't even made Adam yet. Okay, this is where the contradiction comes in. This is where you will see that there are many contradictions in the Bible, but this is the one where it talks about Adam and Eve, because he's already saying, he's talking to people, because he says let us. Well, he's talking to other entities, he's talking to other beings. Okay, so that's the contradiction in and of itself. He's talking to other beings, saying, let us make man in our image. In our image. So there again, it's showing that he's talking to other entities that are there. Let us make man in our image, after our likeness. O-U-R. Our likeness. Our family. Our people. Our likeness. Okay? That's in the beginning. So he hadn't even made just Adam. He didn't say, you know what? if it was going to read how it should be, how they should have wrote this, God said, let me make a man in my image. That would make sense. That would have it flow if it was just one God at that one time. Remember, God is a title that the Roman Catholics, they knew how to manipulate, how to edit this word, how they want it. Elohim, after Elohim meant multiple gods, okay? If they wanted to write it the correct way, they would have said, God said, let me make man in my image. He will have dominion over the lands. He said, let us make man in our image. Let them, okay? So it wasn't like Eve was an afterthought. Eve was not an afterthought. She was created at the same time. That's where you get the story of Lilith from, okay? Because people have studied this word, and man has continued to try to oppress women. So they had to say there was a woman created before Eve, and she was so, bossy that they kicked her out of God kicked her out of the garden, turned her into a demon, and then created Eve for Adam. No, that's not what it says in the word, okay? And it's convoluted. It has been manipulated. Okay? So that's in the beginning. So then you say, well, when did Adam come on the scene with against the lean? When did Adam come on the scene? Adam popped up, and same in Genesis, but we way over here, Genesis 1, verse 21. And then the Lord caused, wait a minute. Oh no, this is where he's making Eve. Hold on, let me see, hold on. It's down here, Genesis. The name of this, name a second. Hold on, guys. Okay, so if you go to chapter 2, so now Adam is on the scene. Now, before that, God said he making man in his image, them in his image. But the way it's written, you would think Eve is an afterthought, okay? You would think Eve is an afterthought, the way it's written. But in the beginning, before he even put Adam and mold him out of the clay, he said it's Elohim, so them, whoever the council was he was speaking to. He said it in Genesis 1, chapter 1, verse 27 and 28, that he was going to make them in their image. Then you go to chapter 2, and he didn't, and the Lord formed man of the dust of the ground and breathed into his nostrils the breath of life, and man became a living soul. And the Lord God, remember God, Elohim, multiple gods, planted a garden eastward in Eden, and there he put the man whom he had formed. What happened to them? What happened to them? Now it's a singular person. Do you see the confusion? What happened to them that you said at the council, because you was talking to somebody when you said, let us make man in our image, chapter 20, in chapter 1, 26, verse 26, in our image, and let them. But now over here in chapter 2, you got it where you only made one person. Do you see the disconnect? And then if you jump over to Genesis chapter 5, then you hear right here This is the book of the generation of Adam. In the day that God created man, in the likeness of God made he him. Male and female created he them, and blessed them and called their name Adam. Well, wait a minute. Their name Adam? Well, uh, their name Adam? I thought it was Adam and Eve, because he makes Adam jumps on the scene, chapter 2, verse 7. Adam jumps on the scene. Then if you go down to verse 21, chapter 2, verse 21, then Eve jump on the scene. Because then Eve is, and the Lord God caused a deep sleep to fall upon Adam, and he slept. And he took one of his ribs and closed up the flesh. That this is Eve. Eve jumped on the scene, chapter 2, verse 21, 22. Okay? And 22. And the rib which the Lord God had taken from man made he a woman and brought her unto the man. And Adam said, flesh of my flesh. Y'all know the drill. Bone of my bone. Adam called her Eve. The Lord said their names was Adam. Do you see the confusion? Okay. Do you see that the Bible has been edited and taken from the emerald tablets, and a lot of filler is in here to make this read, to make it flow more like a story of the history, but also by making it read and flow, it has an oppressive overtone to it. Okay, because of who has the power and the rulership of any nation, any lands, has the power and the rulership to write history. Okay, although there are truths in this word, it has been manipulated. Okay, so what they will have you think is just from that simple, you know, I mean, copy, paste, rewrite right here, editing, it has a lot of confusing statements. So, and I'm going to let you hear not just me, but scholars and people who have studied this Bible and words and the origin of words. Okay. Yes, right here. This is true. That it's revolving around men. That this is only revolving around men. But if I'm oh, if men and women truly wanted um, the understanding of what is going on in this dimension, what is really going on here, and really come to the understanding that this is not the full truth. This has the truth in it, but it has been manipulated. Okay, and it has been manipulated to use as a tool of oppression. It has been manipulated, and it's just a truth that many won't come to, and a lot of men won't come to that realization because they'll feel attacked by the truth. Okay, they'll simply feel attacked by the truth, and that's what it is. Okay. Yes, information is coming through. And we are in the time of the great reveal. We are in the time of disclosure. Disclosure, you have to disclose everything. Everything must come out. The truth must be revealed. That's something I would have to get into further down, because there is a seed of Satan, but I haven't. I'd have to go in the serpent seed. Has everyone heard of that? Yeah, I have. Anyone heard of that? Yes, the Elohim. Yes. So what I want to do is I'm gonna try to get it to the point, because this was, like I said, I personally like to study, and but for some people they might fall off once I bring this out, because they don't want to hear, because you know what most people want to do is get what I say and take that little clip and use it to their benefit, to make it seem like I'm just spouting off untruths, okay, instead of listening to the whole broadcast, and then also instead of doing their own study and research. Now, when I first started this broadcast, I let you listen to my exposing and Anunnaki exposed, and finding out that the term Anunnaki comes from the Sumerian people, and the Sumerian people also had the Hebrews were also in that culture of Samaria, and bringing you forth the information of the woman at the well. But once again, um, in our society, the woman at the well was more made to know how many her body count, instead of the true understanding of why that was even mentioned, of the woman of the well, of the woman at the well. Okay, why would that even be mentioned? Because even when you go, and I had it written down, but I don't know if I had it marked off where I can go to it right away. Because even when you read the story of the woman at the well, and I'm just gonna, you guys can find it on your own time, but you can see that it was written even as a put down to women, even in here. So you have to understand that the Romans and the people who put all of this together used it as a tool of oppression for women. Because, oh, I wish I had, is this it? No. Songs. I told you I have all kind of stuff. I want you guys to go, if you find the story of the woman at the well. I don't have it right offhand, but even when you read it in the Word, Yahushua, known as Jesus, goes to her at this well to, reveal himself as the Savior, and to offer this woman everlasting life if she believes in him, and basically to go run and tell it to everyone, because he discerns her spirit, and when men teach it, it's her body count. Oh, she had 5 husbands. Okay, but we are in the awakening. It wasn't about her having 5 husbands. It's about you coming to me. Say if I didn't know you from Adam. Okay, I'd never met you before in my life, but I'm blessed to have the discernment to see your whole life. Okay, and so you don't believe me. You don't believe me, and I'm trying to relate to you. And so the Most High, Yahushua, goes to this well and talks to this woman, and she's already she's already considered defiled, right? But she's a Hebrew. She is
part of his line, his people, his cousins, aunties, relatives, his people, his line, his bloodline. And so to talk to this woman who already is considered a defiled woman in her community of Samaria, where the original text of this Bible, the Sumerian tablets come from, he's in Samaria talking to a Jew who doesn't know that she's a Jewish woman. So if I am blessed and I come, half of my gene pool is from the heavens, which Yahweh's gene pools is from the Most High, he's gonna say, well, let her know you got 5 husbands. Your first husband, you have 5 husbands, and the one you're with isn't your husband now. He's letting her know, giving her some shocking information that only she would probably know, and a couple of townspeople, but they wouldn't know the ins and outs of that, her life with those husbands, right? So that is a way of, I'm who I say I am. I am the Messiah, okay? And so also he's given her grace because the other people have shunned her. Every story, it is so funny to me how the Messiah always is saving a woman that men are always, they're always on the cusp of killing, okay? Or they have already labeled her foul, okay? So that's what they had labeled this woman at the well. So nobody was messing with her. Nobody had 2 words for this woman at the well, who was in Samaria, his bloodline. If he was so righteous and he felt that he was beyond approach, he wouldn't have, first of all, he wouldn't have been dealing with no woman who was defiled. He wouldn't have went all the way to Samaria to deal and talk to a defiled woman. But that's what he did. And he went to Samaria to talk to a defiled woman because that was his people. And he talked to this woman and he made it plain to her, I know about you. I know your life. But I want to give you the most precious gift that you should be wanting for yourself. Because this system is a wrap. So he went to a defiled woman of a land that she's not a part of, that ain't nobody got no time for. They done kicked her to the curb, so she got to go to the well by herself because nobody want to deal with her. They done labeled her. And you tell me somebody that was born, that have the genes from the heavens, they got the most precious gift, the most precious wish that anybody could want is everlasting life. And he chooses to give it to a defiled woman, only for it to be written in this Bible, to understand her body count. Oh, she had 5 husbands. That's the only thing you understood about the story of the woman at the well. That's because it was written by man. So that's why you only understand that part of the story. If you look and open your eyes and your heart, the Most High sent his child down here in the human flesh with godly genes to also go and get his people and let them know, wake them up to know who they are, and went into a land that she was confused in. But if you read it in here, even after he says, yes, go tell him, because she's so excited that you are the Messiah. I'm going to go tell it. You are the Messiah. If you read it verbatim in here, and I wish I had it ready for you guys. Even after she goes to tell the men and everybody in the town that she has met the Messiah, he is the Messiah. So she brings him, Yahushua, to the town. And as it's written in here in the Bible, it says basically the men say, well, we didn't believe you. We only believed him because he is the Messiah. Come on now. Come on now. The oppression. That is the oppression. That is the filler. That is the filler that is in the word. Because even at that time, even if that part is not true, where it says we only believe of the story of him being the Messiah because he came to tell us. That's what the men of the town said when the woman at the well was so blessed. She already received the blessing. She already received the blessing from the child of the Most High. She didn't have to, she didn't have to go run and tell them nothing. They could have burnt it because there was other Jews in the town, you see, of Samaria. But it's also like the men of today. Won't believe nothing a female says. We don't believe you. Remember, she's defiled. She's a woman who had 5 husbands. We don't believe nothing you say. So she has to get Howard shot. He comes to town to tell them. And then they still in her face tell we still didn't. But let me find that. Somebody find that text. Hold on for a minute. Because I don't know. I can't remember what. Because I don't want y'all to think I'm just up here saying, and then we'll go back to understanding the words in the Bible, like God. What book is the woman at the well found in the Bible? They still didn't believe her, and Yahushua didn't even come to them. That's how stubborn and how men are going to lose it in the end. That is how they're going to lose it, because the one who came to save us all came to tell a defiled woman. And the men so high-minded. What is it? You said John? Is it John 4? What did they say on here? Oh yeah, thank you. John 4. Let me see. John 4. Let's get it. They were even Yahushua, she said, oh, you didn't believe her? Oh, that's what he should have said. Oh, you didn't believe her when she came to tell you? Okay, I got something for you. You can't get none of this water. That's what he should have told him. But he got more grace than I. That's probably what. You didn't believe her? Because he came to her first. John. Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. Hold on. Let me get to it. Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. John 4. Did I mark it out? John 4, verse 5. Hold on, y'all. Give me a minute, because I wasn't gonna talk about this point, but I just have to make it plain how information is brought to people, and it's showing you right here in this word that this could be fillers, or it could be actual, that the men didn't even believe the woman that came to tell them of their Savior that has come. Okay, let me see. John chapter 4. Verse 5. And then cometh he to the city of Samaria. Oh, let me get my highlighter. Hold on for a minute. I got a highlighter down here. I got a highlighter. Oh, here it is. Hold on. I got to highlight this. I thought I had it saved. Yes, is thank you for that. Who gave me that? Thank you. Let me put you up here. So the story about the woman at the well is in John chapter 4, verse 5. verse 5 through 30, but I don't think I'll be reading all that. Y'all can go read. I'm just breaking it down for y'all because I want y'all to see the point of the matter. First of all the ancient texts that your Bible and everything comes from started in Samaria. Samaria is the first place of the written word on the emerald tablets, and your everything started in Samaria. Samaria is where I gave you the understanding that the woman at the well was in Samaria. It's right here. John chapter 4, starting at verse 4. Start at verse 4. And he came, and he must need to go through Samaria. Hold on. Let me see if that's the part I want. Came through Samaria to the city of Samaria, which is called, near grounds that Jacob gave his son. Come on now. And then I tell you, come on, y'all need to read. But I know you ain't gonna listen to me. You might be the men. In Samaria. Don't want to listen to a woman, but I'm telling you, your first Bible and information was written in Samaria on the emerald tablets. The Anunnaki, all of that it's a puzzle. You ready to put these pieces together? Okay. So right here it's telling you that Jacob was there. Remember, she said her cousin Jacob, but I'm trying to get down to her. So y'all can read this. Okay. Go down to verse 7. If you got your Bibles or tablet open, you go down to verse 7. There cometh a woman of Samaria to draw water. Jesus, we know as Yahushua. We know him as Yahushua, said unto her, give me drink. For his disciples were gone away unto the city to buy meat. Then said to the woman of Samaria, you see how y'all don't get it. Said to the woman of Samaria, why your preachers was focused on her body count. Your preachers was focused on her body. Why would they keep saying the woman of Samaria? Why you keep repeating something? Because you want it to stick. You want it to be understood. Why you keep repeating something? The woman of Samaria, where did the original words, where did the beginning of civilization was written and the words were written in your Bible, the emerald tablets, where all that started at? Samaria. Let's get into it. The woman, then saith the woman of Samaria unto him, how is it that thou being a Jew, because she didn't know who she was, ask drink from me? How are you gonna ask me to give you a drink? You are a Jew. We don't even get along, because she thought she was Samaritan. Don't get me started again. You Jews of America thinking you African American. She thought she was Samaritan, and this Jew, Yahushua, come to Samaria and say, can you give me some water for my disciples and me? The disciples in the city. He knew what he was doing. Go on handle that. I'm gonna go get this water. I gotta talk to somebody. I gotta take care of some business. How you gonna ask water from me? Okay, because you a Jew. Where am I at? You a Jew. Ask drink of me, which I am a woman of Samaria. For the Jews have no dealings with the Samaritans. Okay. Some of them Africans over in Africa, they don't like us Americans. Some of them Africans over in Africa, Jews too. You get it? Yeah, we don't know who is who. Africans and African Americans. Africans don't like African Americans. Half of them Africans don't know that some of them is a Jew. She didn't know who she was. Jesus answered and said unto her, if you knew it,
if you knew it, the gift of God, and who it is that saith to thee, give me to drink, thus thou would have answered him, and he would have given the living water. Hold on. Baby, let me say. He said, you knew who I was. If you knew who I was, you would know I got the living water. I got the most precious gift. Okay? But she don't know him, but he know her, right? And the woman said unto him, Sir, thou hast nothing to draw with, and the well is deep. Okay, we're gonna get down to it. We know they had a conversation. Get down to it. Okay, so he asked for the water. We on number 12. Art thou greater than our father Jacob? So I wanted to read 12 because remember, Jacob is a Jew, but she don't know who she is. So right here, like I broke it down in the car, if you skip down to 12, she's asking Yahushua, oh, you better than our cousin Jacob? Because we've been here a long time. A long time. We got family that's been raised here. We've been in America a long time. All I knew, I was born in America. You feel me? And that ain't even your country. She's born in Samaria. There's Jews in Samaria. You don't know my cousin Jacob? Go down to 12. Now we're going to go down to 13. And Jesus said unto her, whoever drinketh of the water shall thirst again. So he's telling her, if you drink of this water, you're going to thirst again, because this is just regular tap water. Okay? I can give you some tap water. You're probably going to be thirsty again. You're probably going to get weak because it's full of fluoride. It ain't no good, but I got the real deal. Why did he go to a man? Why did he go to a man, sit in the cafe and chop it up and tell him who he's about? Why he ain't go brag in the streets with the men and tell the man, yo, I'm here. I'm ready to take over. It's a takeover. We taking down the spot. Why he didn't do that? Why did he go to a woman in Samaria? He could have went to all them men. But I want to jump down. I need to find after he tells her. Because y'all seen the breakdown already. Y'all heard me break it down already. Hold on. Okay, so let me break this part down that the churches have always overlooked, and they didn't give you that he was prophesying to this woman, because now he done said he got the juice, he got the everlasting water, he got the water that's gonna give her everlasting life, eternal life. Okay, now this has intrigued this woman at the well, you know. So she's like, well, she's right here. Go to 15. The woman said unto him, Sir, give me the water that I thirst not, neither come hither to draw. So she said, give me the water. I don't want to thirst again. I don't even want to come to this well and draw water again. Give me the water. Okay. She wants the water. How do you think she would understand that she's going to get the water that's going to have her not thirst again? By him saying, I got the water, here's the water. How do you think he needs to get her to unlock or break down the walls in her mind, to open her heart up? How do you think that's going to happen? She just asked him, show me, prove
it to me. Start giving me the everlasting water. You talking about you got some water with vitamins in it. You got some water that don't come out the tap water. You don't even buy your water from the stove. Your water flows from heavenly mountains and hills and valleys that keep you alive. What kind? Yeah, give me that water. How can I get that water? How can he get her trust? Oh, you want the water? Okay. He gonna get a trust now. Oh, you want the water, sir? Let's go to 15. Let me read that again. The woman said unto him, Sir, give me the water that I thirst not, neither come hither to draw. I don't even want to come to this well and draw this water no more. I want the everlasting water. I don't want to be thirsty. Yahushua smart. He said, okay. Jesus, we at 16. Jesus said unto her, Go call thy husband to come hither. Yahushua slick. He know what he doing. What do you think he just did? He already knew her spirit. What do you think he just did? He knew her spirit. Now he about to break it down so she can understand. He gonna give her this water. He gonna let her know, I know you. Go tell your husband to come here. Did he go to the well, just boppity bop to the well and said, oh, woman, you got 5 husbands. He ain't say nothing about no 5 husbands. And the husband she has right now is not hers. He could say that off the rip. Did he do that? No. He was smooth with it. I see through you. I know you. I knew about you before you was even walking this earth. He was smooth. He wanted to give her everlasting life, his cousin, his peoples, his kinfolk. Hello down there. Hello. His kinfolks, the everlasting life. He could have went to the man in the village. Hell, I'm sure it was a king, a ruler in the village, a prophet not even a prophet, because he's a prophet, right? He's the main man on campus, right? He didn't do that. He went to her. She said she opened the door. Give me the everlasting life, the water that you say you have. Okay, let's get it. Go get your husband. She might have felt a little salty. She might have felt a little salty at this point. Oh, you playing games. Your house, go get your husband. Oh, in her mind, you playing games. Now you must have heard about me from somebody in the city. Somebody probably know. Somebody know your business. Somebody know your business. Your mama, your grandmother, your cousins. One of them people, maybe your cousin, maybe 2 people might know your business in town, in your life, in your neighborhood. Your deep, darkest secret. Somebody might know. Oh, so you being funny. Go get my husband. Let's see what's said. Let's see what's said. The woman answered and said, I have no husband. Jesus said unto her, Thou hasn't well said. That don't make no sense to me. I have no husband, for thou hast had 5 husbands. And he whom thou now hast in is not thine husband, is That's why I don't like reading the Bible. It's being now. In that saith thou truly. So he's saying, yeah, you're right. You ain't got no husband. The woman said unto him, Sir, hold up, partner. Sir, how you know I ain't got no husband? You must be a prophet. Okay? That's what he did. He discerned her spirit. He told her about her life. You must be a prophet. I'm going to go all the way down. I want to go where she goes to the city. And then the men said, we only believe him because he came. That was my whole point. Therefore, the disciples.
Okay, woman, believe me, the hour is coming. He like, time is short, blah, blah, blah. The woman said unto him, I know the Messiah cometh. She is coming, Christ. Okay, let me keep going. Even though. Let me see. The woman said unto him, I know the Messiah cometh. Mm-hmm. What is it? Without reading a different, and many of the Sumerians city believed on him and said, testify. Okay, here it is. Here it is, guys. This the part. This the men nowadays. Here it is. Go to go to 41. This the men nowadays. She done went and told everybody. She done went and told everybody. And these men say, and many more believed because of him, his own words. Okay, wait a minute. So the Sumerian were come unto him. They brought him that he, no. Well, where was it? And many more believed because of his own words. Okay, this part. And many more. So she done went and told everybody. And many more believed of his own words. And said unto the woman, listen, the woman that Yahushua came to first and told her about her. So she went through the town telling everybody, told the men of the town. This is what they told her. 42. And said unto the woman, now we believe not because of thy saying, for we have heard him ourselves and know that this is indeed Christ, the Savior of the world. That's the men of the day. That is the men of today. Let me read that one more time. That's mind-blowing right here. That's mind-blowing. They didn't believe it because it came out of a woman's mouth. 42. And many more believed because of his own words. Because she had to go get Yahushua and bring him into town. Tell the folks, this she running through town. This is the prophet. He has come to give us living water. He is listen to me. Hello. He's telling them. Oh shit. She's telling them. It's the prophet. He told me about myself. She know it to be factual. Hold on, y'all. Where this thing come from? Oh. Them men, just like the men of the day. A woman come and tell. I'm trying to tell you. She met the Most High for herself. I mean, not the most. She met Yahushua for herself. He came directly to the well to tell her, I give you living water. These men didn't believe nothing this woman said until Yahushua came and told them. And you know how oppressive this is right here? You know how oppressive this is right here? Because it's written. It's written. And many believe more because of his word, his own words. Whose own words? Howard Shaw's own words. And they said unto the woman, now we believe, not because of thy saying, for we have heard him ourselves, and know that this is indeed Christ, the Savior of the world. Now we're going to go to understanding words. So the men didn't even believe the woman, and she had the living water walking beside her. And that's how it's going down today. That's how it's going down today. Hello, Mr. Brooks. That's how it's going down today. That's right. By supernaturally telling her details about her life. That he could have known. That's right. He couldn't have known it. It was supernatural. He was prophesying to this woman. And that's what made her believe. It wasn't that he just walked in, but when you read this, and when you have heard this sermon in church, first thing they talking about her body count. That was not the whole point of it. He told her about her marriages and the men she'd been with to let her know, I know you. And then them doggone men still didn't believe because it came out of a woman's mouth. But do you think these men? I wonder. The men who said we didn't believe until he said it. Do you think they got a ticket to the pearly gates? I wonder. To see what is going to happen is the people who think they know everything about everything and think they got a straight ticket to the pearly gates, a ticket to the next dimension, ain't got nothing but dust in their pockets. Dust. Because people try to come and tell them, look, I met Howard Shah. Yeah, okay. Men, come on. Come on, men. Let's go to the pub. Okay, so we're going to get into this. About words. So we talked about how the Bible is so confusing to people, and people don't believe it. They don't, because men have written it. That's right. They did, but the texts that were written on the walls that came down with the Anunnaki, which are just heavenly beings, because we got the definition of the Anunnaki in a previous broadcast that I did, Anunnaki exposed. So we know that there's heavenly beings that came down. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to, I hope I can get it to pinpoint some words, but what I want you to do is hear this man talk about words. You will be stunned. I hope this is the right one.
So this may be a little crazy, but this one
Hold on for a minute. We got to get through the commercial. You know how it go down.
$19,000
You know how it go down. So this is Paul Wallace.
About academic credentials. And very often it's the work of the writer to push the conversation forward, because those in tenured positions who are at the top of the academic tree.
Hold on. Let me go to the beginning.
The fifth kind. I've been a preacher for more than 30 years. I've studied and taught through the book of Genesis many, many times in churches all around the world. And I've trained pastors in the skills of interpreting text. You translate Elohim in the plural, it all makes sense. But what we actually have is a conflict among the sky people, among the powerful ones, over how intelligent the human species is to be. We've read stories of brutal colonization and ill treatment of human beings as a story of God and God's behavior. We've come up with a picture of God that is completely distorted. The Apostle Paul described God as the source of the cosmos and everything in it, that in which we all live and move and have our being. You go to the mistranslation of the Elohim stories and you've got a God who's brutal, violent, can genocide people, will slaughter people who actually try to serve him. It's a monstrous deity we've created by mistranslation, and you can draw a straight line from that to all kinds of violence and abuses that we've justified in the name of God. And that comes down to mistranslation. When I talk about Bible translation, people might say, well, that's a bit of a rarefied topic, isn't it? But the implications of getting it wrong are enormous, and they have been through the ages. As I've studied theology and world mythology, I've realized that dragons occurred in ancestral narratives all around the world. You go to Egypt, and their dragon was Akek. And then in Mesoamerica, you've got Quetzalcoatl, Cucumans, Kukulkan. In Georgia, you've got the Colchis. In Portugal and Spain, you've got the Coca. You've got the Cuchedra, the Ikuchi, the Curuchu. The shape of the stories is very similar from culture to culture. And they talk about a time when our ancestors were ruled over by entities that were not human. They are reptilian. They destroy people using fire, and they use the humans as their workforce to supply them with.
So, hold on, I want to pause that just to give y'all some clarity on what he was just saying, because that can, when he said the people who ruled over humans before were not human, they were reptilian, that also goes back to the fallen that is mentioned in the Sumerian text, the Anunnakis. And I told you guys I was going to do a breakdown on the slave planet. I said, a lot of people believe that this is a jail planet. And in actuality, you can consider this to be a slave planet because of the origins of the seeding of this planet. And it's further back than this. It goes into understanding the text from which this came, the Sumerian tablets. Okay, so this is going to be a little detailed in different aspects. So I'll break it down so that you can get the understanding, and then hopefully it'll get to the point where I wanted to make about Genesis, about how when he just mentioned the Elohim and how the origins of words emerge, okay? And gods and things of that nature.
Probes the world's ancient mythologies for clues about the origins of the human race, and has published several books in the field of mysticism and spirituality. In the last his work has probed the world's ancient mythologies for the insights they hold on our origins as a species and our potential as human beings. Paul's work in church ministry has included training pastors in the interpretation of biblical text, working as a troubleshooter for communities of faith, and serving as an archdeacon in the Anglican Church in Australia. Endorsed by George Norrie and Eric von Daniken, Paul Wallace's latest book, Echoes of Eden, explores what secrets of human potential were buried with our ancestors' memories of ET contact. From Senate briefings in Washington, D.C., to secret ceremonies in Southern Africa, from strange phenomena.
Okay, so that's a little bit about his background. Let's skip that.
Encounters in modern Brazil and
let's go up a little bit.
Or debunking the UFO and ET contact phenomena for best part of 70 years. We have been culturally habituated to laughing at people who describe close encounters or abduction experiences, and it's only really in the last 3 years that policy has changed in the US, with the Pentagon finally coming forward and authenticating the UFO phenomenon, and that led last year to the Senate briefings. So I hope there's a bit of a culture shift happening right now. Certainly, we're hearing from authorities on the subject of contemporary ET contact in a way that we never have before in my lifetime. So we have people like Haim Eshed, the former chief of space security for Israel. He was the brigadier general, held that position for 27 years. He can come forward as he did a couple of Christmases
Hold
ago,
on.
and say that
Listen
on
to
the
a little bit,
basis
because
of
I don't
his
know if this
work,
is the one I actually
his
want.
belief is that we are already in contact with a number of spacefaring civilizations who make up what he called an intergalactic federation. And we've been in contact for some time, but they chose not to self-disclose until we have a better understanding of space. Now, in years past, you would never hear anything like that from someone in authority like him. And nobody above him came in and debunked him. And he's just one example. We've heard from Alain Gillet, the French security chief, who has authenticated the work of ATIP as investigating metamaterials retrieved from UFO crashes. And so he has endorsed what Luis Elizondo has said, who headed up that unit within the Pentagon for 10 years. All this is coming out. The Pentagon has authenticated the footage we've all seen of the Tic Tac encounters from 2004. The USS Nimitz engaged to follow these incredible, UFOs, to use the old-fashioned name. And look, there are other senior figures around the world speaking about these things and not being debunked, which is new. So there has been a culture shift, but there is still this bias towards ridicule when people talk about UFOs, ET contact, abduction phenomena. But I hope that with my books, we're making it more a part of mainstream conversation again, and more people are opening up to these topics. I remember as a little boy growing up in England watching a children's cartoon called Noggin
Hold
the
on,
Nog.
y'all. Let it run out. Let it play out, because I don't know if I'm on the right video.
Stories from out of the Dark Ages.
Because I've been
And
listening
there
to a lot of
was
videos. So let it play
Welsh
out for a
dragon
minute.
in it, a Welsh griffin called Idris. And so I grew up thinking that the dragon stories were a Welsh phenomenon. And then as I've studied theology and world mythology, I've realized, of course, that dragons occur in ancestral narratives all around the world. One of the things that's curious about it is the names of them. So you go to Egypt, and their dragon was Akek. And then in Mesoamerica, you've got Quetzalcoatl, Cucumatz, Kukulkan. In Georgia, you've got the Colchis. In Portugal and Spain, you've got the Coca. You've got the Cuchetra, the Ikuchi,
Oh, no.
the Kurachu.
Hold on, that's not the right one. Hold on, that wasn't the right one, y'all. Hold on.
For seniors, the Social
I think
Security
I got the right one.
Administration has made a small burial.
Okay, so let this set up. I'm about to go put me some noodles in the
For
in the
hundreds
mic.
and thousands of years, people
Make me
around
some
the
ramen
world
noodles real
have
quick.
turned to the Bible
Listen to this
for
real quick, because
information
we're gonna
about God.
break this down.
Two scholars,
Hold
Mark
on.
Bellino and
Remember, we are talking about the word God. Like I told you, that word Anunnaki is a title. We are talking about why people feel that the Bible is not real. We are talking about how the Bible has been edited, and it is used for oppression. It is used for the oppression of women as well. That a lot of words that are in here are fillers to make this storyline flow easily, but a tool for oppression. The people who rule are the people who write history and steal history and use things to their advantage. So let's get into it. We're going to listen to this documentary real quick.
Paul
I'll be right
Wallace
back.
argue for a radically different interpretation. Seeking out the root meanings of key words in these ancient texts, they find another, quite different story emerges. One with enormous implications for our understanding of the human race and our place in the universe. For more than 2 millennia, readers have interpreted the ancient texts of the Bible as stories of God. A seamless narrative in which God creates the heavens and the earth, botanical and animal life, and eventually, the human race. However, a number of anomalies in the texts, along with intriguing questions of translation, point to another possibility. Paul Wallace is an internationally best-selling author, researcher, and scholar of ancient mythologies. Over the last decade, Paul's work has probed the world's mythologies and ancestral narratives for the insights they hold on our origins as a species and our potential as human beings. As a senior churchman, Paul served as a church doctor, a theological educator, and an archdeacon in the Anglican Church in Australia. Paul's work in church ministry has included training pastors in the interpretation of biblical texts. His work in biblical translation and interpretation has revealed a forgotten layer of ancient story, with far-reaching implications for our understanding of human origins and our place in the cosmos. Mauro Bellino is an internationally best-selling Italian author, researcher, and highly regarded scholar of ancient Hebrew. For many years, he worked for Rome's St. Paul Press as a Bible translator, providing with great precision the literal meaning of Hebrew words for Vatican-approved interlinear Bibles. It is an exacting discipline. The scholar must be rigorous in avoiding any kind of interpretation of the word and give only the literal etymological meaning of each word. Mauro's findings set him at odds with the conventional
I'm running back over here. Hold on. Write that word down. Analogical meaning. If I'm saying it right. Write that word down. That means if you're going to write something, if you're going to break down the meaning of a word, or if you found tablets, you found these ancient tablets, and now you know how to decipher the words and the meanings on these ancient tablets. You cannot write a story. You can't write a story and then put in words that the people of now understand, like God. You cannot just put or substitute the word that you know or the mass majority know because you found ancient tablets. Because when you take a word and you substitute, it changes the meaning of the original manuscript or the original tablets from what it was written on. And that is what has happened regarding the Bible. So the etymology of a word is important. Where did the word originate from, and what was the original meaning of that word? And so, therefore, when you get your Bible, and I got King James, and you see the word from the beginning, if you don't know what I'm talking about, run this back real quick of this live, and you can understand. I broke down something that's confusing for most people in the Bible, because a lot of this is it's fillers, okay? A story to make something more like easy read. We were reading out of Genesis, and God said, let us make man in our image. The word God is a title. We've gone over that when I broke down Anunnaki. It's a title. So the etymology of a word is very important. If you have original text, you should never change the meaning so that the mass majority can understand. Okay, so let's get it. I'll be right back.
And propelled him onto the international stage, where his work has opened up a world of cultural memory recorded in the Bible, yet hidden from the public for centuries by mistaken translation and the dogmas of the church. Together, Mauro and Paul show that the root meanings of a series of key words in the Bible reveal an earlier layer of information very different to the story of God associated with the Bible. Hidden in plain sight in the pages of Genesis is an even more ancient narrative, one which reframes the whole story of human beginnings.
I've been a preacher for more than 30 years. I've studied and taught through the book of Genesis many, many times in churches all around the world. and I've trained pastors in the skills of interpreting text. Now, I argue that the Elohim stories of the Bible are not stories about God at all. They are stories about a totally different kind of entity and a plurality of entities. Elohim means powerful ones, the powerful ones. And there are stories of all kinds of powerful beings through the Hebrew scriptures.
I translated for the most important Catholic publishing house in Italy, which works under the Vatican. I translated 17 books. These books are in the university, in the Faculty of Theology, and these books translate literally what the Bible says. The Elohim were not one God, but were many individuals. Most importantly, they were not spiritual deities, but individuals in the flesh, the powerful ones, as Paul rightly defines them.
There's a moment in Daniel chapter 10 when Michael, a powerful one, the warrior, shows up and says, I had a terrible time getting here because I had to go into battle with the powerful one of Persia. And so they're all associated with geographical areas. Human colonies governed over by their powerful ones, and the humans being sent out to war against each other on behalf of the powerful ones, conflicting with one another over Project Earth and Project Humanity. It will become very difficult to remain comfortable with our conventional translations of these words. The way they behave in the narratives reveals that what we are looking at is ancient technology that previous generations of translators simply didn't expect to find, and so they didn't see it.
Does your child struggle with their emotional health? Being a parent is a challenge all on its own, but being a parent with a child that is struggling with their overwhelming emotions, well, there is nothing harder. Use this free half-staff guide to start helping
This might be a long one.
Today, I'm sure you are liking.
Get your water. Commercial break. I got to write down some notes myself. The etymology of words. We're breaking down some scriptures tonight. This might be mind-blowing for some of you guys. If you're not ready, go on, turn me off. Go watch football or something. Go watch something else. Go talk about whatever. Whatever they talking about in the world, go talk about that. Go talk about Alicia Keys. This is a little deeper than that, okay? This is a little deeper than that. And let me tell you something. And if you're over here trying to copy and steal my dog content, keep it pushing. Because I'm going to start putting people on blast again, too, for stealing my content. Okay, so the etymology of words. Etymology. Write that down. Etymology of words. That means, what is the meaning of the original word? What is the meaning of the original word? The original. Have you ever played, I know, look, you already know. I don't know how many times, I'm OG up in here. We didn't have computers and all those games back in the day. So there was a game called telephone. You get in a circle, a group of kids, and one person tells a message to the other person sitting next to them. And then they reach over and say, the sky is blue and purple and green. You're supposed to pass that exact message to the next person and let it travel all the way around that circle. So then you have people in the group. The sky is purple and green and red. It didn't even keep the same message, and it just made it to the third person. So as you get all the way around to the end of the telephone line of this game we used to call telephone, the last person at the end of the line gets the message. Okay. Yeah? Okay. Got it. There was a yellow and red, purple and black bear that crossed the street. That was not even happening close to the doggone message. You might have got a couple of things right. But you know, the message is blown. Etymology. What is the original message of the words that were given to relay that message? That is etymology of words. Okay? And then, so therefore, Elohim in your Hebrew text, when these words and the understanding out of Samaria, the original people to first write about interactions with heavenly beings, you may call them ET, extraterrestrial. You may call them aliens, etymology. See how that changed? They call them the Anunnaki. They called them heavenly beings that came down from heaven. The etymology of words. So write down etymology and write down Elohim. Because the Hebrews, because remember, Hebrews were in Samaria. We already went through that. Hebrews were in Samaria. Elohim. I gotta look that up. Elohim. I don't even know how to spell that. My bad. Elohim. I don't know how to spell it, but write it down the best you can. Look it up later and get the correct spelling. Meaning multiple gods. The Hebrew manuscripts of original text, the etymology of the word Elohim meant many gods out of the Hebrew text. But when it came to writing from your Romans, they have hoodwinked you all. And they have wrote in here that has people confused in Genesis, where they have substituted Elohim from the Hebrews' original writing, meaning many gods, to God, a title, meaning one God, which confuses the etymology of the message. Okay? Because to give an example, I said we went into Genesis where it says, Genesis 1, chapter 1, verse 26, and God said, let us make man in our image. Well, they have put in the word God. Hebrew text would have said, Elohim said, the group of gods said, let us. Now it makes sense, doesn't it? Elohim. They took Elohim out. Elohim said, let us make man in our image. Elohim means multiple gods. It's shocking. Go talk about Alicia Keys. Don't be over here if you can't handle the truth. Let's get it. I'm gonna get my noodles. Y'all continue to listen.
Get your notebook. Content here on Fifth Kind TV and would like to support
Get your notebooks.
Please would you consider subscribing to our new website, fifthkind.tv. Here we will have our full catalogue of material along with exclusive access to interviews and documentary content. Sign up today, become part of the community, become part of the conversation. Thank you so much for your support, and I'll see you there.
chat. Kind of quiet over here.
Hello, everyone. It
Pay
makes
attention.
me smile a little bit to see this Bible tower that I consulted to prepare this video. It is a real pleasure for me to be here with my friend Paul Wallis to talk together about biblical topics. I will tell you about a very simple concept, but very respectful of the way of reading the so-called sacred text. Then we will start from here with a series of short videos with the aim of obtaining very simple indication for a respectful reading of the Bible, as respectful as possible towards the ancient authors. In this way, we could do an autonomous reading, and we could get an idea of what the Bible probably tells us beyond what theology has told us instead. At the beginning, of course, I would also like to give you some indications relating to the absolute uncertainty that we have when we approach that text. I mean the awareness of the fact that we know very little about that text. To develop this topic, it is interesting to read some concepts expressed by Professor Garbini, professor at the La Sapienza University of Rome, professor of Semitic philology. Professor Garbini argues that Hebrew is a Canaanite dialect South Phoenician. Actually, Hebrew is one of the many dialects within the Canaanite languages. We only know Hebrew as it was reconstructed at
Listen
the
up. I hope you
end
got your
of the
notepad.
millennium after Christ, the so-called Masoretic Hebrew. At that time, the important thing was not to know the linguistic structure of those texts, but the theological implications deriving from the various currents of Judaism. This means that when we read the Bible, we do not read a text that followed grammar rules, but
You
we
hear
read
that?
a text that followed an ideological path, and the grammatical rules were not a problem for the authors. This is important because over the centuries, many grammatical rules have been developed. For example, those relating to the term Elohim, which from plural witches must absolutely become singular.
Do you hear that? Do you understand that? He's talking about they're looking at the Hebrew writings from Sumerian texts, old ancient texts, and how when the editing of the writings were done, they were looking at grammatical rules. You know, you've been in English class, how they tell you about your grammar and how words should sound and how words should be in the right place so it can make sense, so your sentence makes sense. Okay, but if it doesn't fit, they take and replace the etymology. They replace the original word for a substitute, and it changes the meaning of the original text. Okay, so that's what he's talking about, the grammar that was used.
Linguistic and grammatical rules have therefore been elaborated after. So we know only one of interpretation of the biblical text, that of the school of Tiberias, which produced Masoretic Hebrew. The Hebrew language in the beginning it was expressed through the consonants of the Phoenician language. Hebrew was written without vowels. We will never know how.
The Hebrew language does not have vowels in it.
H-E-I-O-U. It's not written with vowels, okay, guys?
The Bible was originally written. The vowel sounds were introduced by the school of Tiberias between the 6th and 9th centuries after Christ.
After Christ, the vowels were introduced. Oh, yeah.
Professor Garbini says that when we speak of ancient languages, even the agreement of all scholars on the meaning of a term is not a guarantee of certainty. Based on this information, what we can honestly do is try to do a literal reading of the Bible. Regarding the term Elohim, in the face of all these uncertainties, I think the best thing to do is what I will tell you shortly. Elohim is actually a term that you don't know how to translate.
Hello.
For this reason, it is translated in many ways. For example,
okay, hold on. Let me make it plain. He just said Elohim. I told y'all to write down the word etymology, and I told you to write down the word Elohim. It comes from the Hebrews. He just said Elohim. They're trying to translate these words into your biblical text so you can understand them, because you don't know how to read Hebrew. Do you? Do you? You might. I don't know. But for the rest of y'all might not. To translate the text, the original wording of the scriptures from Hebrew into your Bibles today that has been edited over and over again, it changed the meanings of a lot of stuff. So the second word I told you to write down was Elohim. There's no translation for Elohim. Now, for me, I've traveled outside of this country. I've heard different languages, okay? So sometimes, such as Spanish and German, there is no other word to replace the word from its original language and meaning. You can get something close to, but it's not exactly like. So then when you have people who are born here in America who perhaps may have a lineage of Spanish, and their native tongue, they still speak Spanish, but in America they call it Spanglish. It's like a slang. It still kind of can give you the meaning, but it don't give you that punch. If you were born in Mexico and spoke the language, they know that these Mexicans from America is not, they speaking a little slang with theirs. You get me? Okay, that's Elohim. It has no easy translation. Matter of fact, it has no translation. Okay, let's go.
With the term God, but the Jewish exegetes themselves say that in the Hebrew language, there is no term that indicates God as we understand it, as an omniscient, omnipotent, transcendent, spiritual entity that is to be worshipped. Elohim is also translated as judges, legislators, governors, the bright ones from above, and so on. All these terms that are used actually indicate the functions that this Elohim performed, but do not say who they really were. The Elohim were certainly judges, they were certainly legislators, they were certainly governors, but who they really were and what the term Elohim really means, we don't know. This is the fundamental thing. Since we don't know, we must have the correctness to say it. Here in Genesis 20:13, we see one of the examples relating to those uncertainties I mentioned earlier. That concerns the term Elohim and the verbs that are used. This is the passage where Abraham tells his story and tells, when the Elohim brought me out of my father's house. Then you see that here the verb is translated in the plural form. This is the Bible translated for scholars who know the Hebrew language. This is the guide of the verbal forms present in the Old Testament, and also here it is said that the verb, it is in the plural form in the third person. So it is certain that the verb connected to the term Elohim is plural. But in the Bibles translated for families, the verb is theologically translated into the singular because the term Elohim must indicate God, and so it must have the verb in the singular, even if it is plural in Hebrew.
So y'all heard that? Even if it's proven in Hebrew that the word Elohim, meaning judges, a council of holy entities, holy ETs, holy beings from above. Even though the Hebrew language said Elohim means it's many, not just one. But in this translation, it must mean God. In this translation, it must mean God. And so we're going to just call it God and make it singular instead of plural. But in the Hebrew, in the original text, it's Elohim, meaning plural. And here you have God, meaning singular, one. Hebrew, the original text, plural. Plural meaning many, okay? Elohim. Many.
As you can see, the Bibles translated for scholars respect the letter of the Hebrew text, while the Bibles translated for families contain theological translations. That is, they must convey an idea, a different concept from what is written in the original Bible. La Bibbia di Lutero, la Bibbia di Gerusalemme, la Bibbia concordata, la Bibbia nella versione di Giacomo, insomma la Bibbia inglese nella versione di Reggiano. All these Bibles are translated for the public, and therefore they have the translation of verb in the singular form. Luther's Bible, the Jerusalem Bible, the Bible of the German Bishops' Conference, the King James Bible, the Septuaginta, that is the Bible translated into Greek, the Bible published by the House of the Geneva Bible.
So he's mentioning all Bibles, guys, not just one. King James is in there too.
From the fact that Elohim must be translated with the singular term God. Che pongono attenzione al tema. Per esempio, la Bibbia dei testimoni di Geova traduce il verbo al singolare, dice: e avvenne che quando Dio... The Bible of Jehovah's Witnesses translates the verb into the singular, but in the note it says that in reality the verb is plural. Plurale per accordarsi con Elohim, che è plurale. Che il verbo è... Various commentators from different schools try to explain why this plural verb must be translated into the singular. But each time they are explanations that always have the purpose of affirming that Elohim refers to the one God. Plurale, perché non se ne esce. I don't want to go into the merits of all the explanations that have been worked out to try to prove that Elohim is singular. To refute them, it is sufficient, for example, to take Psalm 82, which clearly speaks of an assembly of the Elohim.
An assembly of the Elohim.
And follow what Professor Manuel Tov of the Hebrew University of Jerusalem says. Ma corrispondono in realtà a tre individui diversi. He says that the various ways used by Hebrew to indicate the term we translate with God actually refer to different people, and the terms are El, Elyon, and Yahweh. El is probably one of the singular forms of the term Elohim. The other form is Eloah. Questa è, come dire, una radice che ritorna. Per esempio, in aramaico abbiamo, viene normalmente trascritto. In Aramaic we have Elah. In Syriac language we have Allah. In Arabic, we have Ilah.
So I'm going to speed it up because you have the understanding.
With Allah.
He broke it down from Elohim all the way to Allah, meaning many people, many gods from the original Hebrew text. So when you read in the Bible, which I'm going to speed it up, so because this guy is from another country, so in the background you may hear another person speaking. He's translating what the guy is saying. Okay, so I'm going to speed it up because this other guy's going to break it down a little bit more in English. You probably can understand it a little better. Get through this commercial. So that just
My name is Lisa.
makes a big difference.
Cost me my son.
But we are in the time
No matter what he
of
told me, I always wanted to.
revealing the truth, right?
I'm very happy to be in
Disclosure.
conversation with Mauro on these topics because my own research journey in the Eden series have brought me to very similar conclusions. And it was initially the issues around the word Elohim, the plural form of the word Elohim, that broke me out of my old world of narrow Christian orthodoxy to a point of view from which I can see that the Bible is not a book about God in the way I thought it was, but it is actually representative of a kaleidoscope of entities from the beginning of the Hebrew canon to the very end. Now, the word Elohim is the Bible's oldest word that gets translated as God. But as Mauro has pointed out, it is a masculine plural form that takes plural verb forms.
So hold on, because I don't want anybody who comes through and look at this video and think I am just a man basher. I don't, and I'm trying to anything they could come up in their heads. You just heard a man tell you God, G-O-D, is a masculine form of the word, okay? And when I said earlier, I said the Bible, the Romans, even to this day, even though you might, and you heard earlier the guy from the Italy, I believe, breaking down Elohim, the one with the translator in the background. He even mentioned everything to the King James Version. There is always a hidden hand. And I said that there has been manipulation, editing, and control and oppression used when it comes to the biblical text that we know it as today. And by them editing original Hebrew and Sumerian information from the tablets and scrolls, they took the word Elohim out of Hebrew text, what meant judges, many gods, and put in the masculine form. The masculine word, God, is a masculine form. You heard it out of a man's mouth, not mine alone. Let's get into it.
And as I began drilling down into those questions, I realized that the problems thrown up by the plurality of that word are not just a grammatical glitch. They represent an earlier form of the story in which Elohim was understood to represent a diversity of beings. There is a body in the Hebrew canon referred to as the Sky Council, in which a number of Elohim sit in council together. Now, in my Eden books, Escaping from Eden, The Scars of Eden, and Echoes of Eden, I argue that the Elohim stories make better sense if we do just as Maro just said, and read them with the word Elohim still in place, or if we use a root meaning, the powerful ones. When we read the stories that way, the stories change, but not in a random way. They change in a way that resolves many of the moral questions we would have over the Elohim stories. Why such brutal and unconscionable things are done, how it is that human beings get slaughtered in the conflict of the Elohim, something that doesn't make sense if Elohim is translated in the singular as God. But the other thing that is revealed is that the moment you reread the stories as stories of the Elohim, the powerful ones, you quickly realize that you're reading the summary form of the source narratives from out of ancient Mesopotamia, the narratives from out of ancient Sumeria, Babylonia, Arcadia, and Assyria. I sometimes get an knee-jerk reaction from people of faith.
This marks the potential start of a third world
Yep,
war,
gotta wait
and
for
we will soon be
commercials,
hit with a silent, untraceable attack on America that unfortunately
Y'all heard
very
it.
few will see coming. This attack will be unlike any.
God is fun.
These writings that we know as the scriptures, they don't make sense to a lot of people because they have changed the etymology of the words. Okay? This is not me. This is the studying that I have done, and I'm just sharing it with you. Okay?
Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. So this is the Christian theology of the Holy Trinity. Surely that's why Elohim, the Bible's oldest word for God, is a plural. It must represent the persons of the Holy Trinity. Well, there are many problems to that reaction. And the first is that the Holy Trinity is a Christian doctrine. It's separated from the work and intent of the original authors by millennia. And the theology of the most recent redactors of the Hebrew canon was a monotheistic theology. They did not believe in multiple gods. And in fact, the insertion of the holy name Yahweh over earlier Elohim texts, such as we see in Genesis 3 or Genesis 11, reveals that that later redactor is turning the stories of the Elohim into a story of God. And it's those adjustments that throw up many of the moral problems. Why would a holy God genocide people? Why would a loving God bomb people back into a pre-Stone Age condition from having previously been a technological civilization? This is what we read in Genesis 11. So, no, it's not a representation of the Holy Trinity. And would it make any sense for thousands of human beings to get killed in the crossfire between the Elohim? Is that what happens when the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit get into a spat? Of course not. No, the original stories are about something else. Elohim, what I would argue, are powerful powerful ones. Now, some theologians argue that when the word Elohim is understood as the powers or the powerful ones, that it doesn't specify what kind of entities they are, that this word could refer to anything more powerful and advanced than humanity. And so we shouldn't draw specific conclusions from the word. T.N.T. Clark published a theology of the Old Testament, which was modestly titled The Theology of the Old Testament. It's edited by S.D.F. Salmond, and in it they quote the theologian A.B. Davidson, and he writes these words: "In contrast to men, angels belong to the class of Elohim." Now, I'll pause right there, because that's a reminder that the word Elohim gets translated in various ways through the Hebrew canon. In one place it's God, and in another place it's chieftains or judges or landlords. In another place it's angels. How can this earliest word for God be so elastic? And why would the ancients choose a word to denote the unique transcendent God, but also denote random other entities who they never define? It's slightly ill-fitting. So the quote goes on: "It might be interesting to contemplate the question of how the same name Elohim came to be applied to God and this class of beings." Agreed, good question. Then he goes on: "Perhaps we should be satisfied with the general explanation that the name, meaning powers, is applied from the standpoint of men to all that is above man, to the region lying above him." It's an interesting phrase, isn't it? "Though the same name is given, i.e. to angels and God, the two are never confounded in Scripture." Well, that's a rather disingenuous thing to say. The two are never confounded in Scripture. That's a non-explanation of why the word can mean angels here, or false gods here, or demons here, or judges here, or God over here. What's the truth of the word? And that's why I argue for rereading the Elohim texts and leaving Elohim in the text, so that the shape of the stories becomes that much clearer to the modern reader. Another theologian who points to the word Elohim as representing a kaleidoscope of powerful entities is Michael Heiser. And he rightly points out that the word is far more elastic than we generally believe. But it's only a halfway explanation as to why that is the earliest designation for God. Why would God be categorized with archonic entities, other material beings? Why would there be this competition among Yahweh and the other Elohim? And it's clear in moments in the Bible, Yahweh classes himself as an Elohim. There's an occasion when his king wants a prognosis on his health, and he sends for advice from the Elohim of the people of Ekron. Yahweh gets furious and says, "Is there no Elohim here that he could consult, that he would run off and consult the Elohim of Ekron?" And it's a moment when you realize these Elohim are in competition with one another for hegemony. Go to the Ten Commandments, and you've got something similar, where there's a great forgetting of the other Elohim being commanded. You're not to bow down to them. You're not even to depict them. You serve only Yahweh. And then Moses' successor, Joshua, says something very similar. Cut yourself off from the Elohim the Egyptians served and the Elohim your ancestors served on the other side of the river in Mesopotamia, and you should serve only Yahweh. So there we have a world of many powerful entities, but you serve this one. And so the Yahweh character is set among the many Elohim of the Hebrew stories. You also have stories about a sky council in which a number of Elohim sit in council together, presided over by the character Yahweh. How can you have a council where a number of those entities are fictitious, but the president of the council is real, and that's God? That's not quite coherent. We have to realize there is an earlier form of the stories prior to the 7th to 6th century BCE edit, and the original form is a world in which there are many Elohim, many powerful ones, all presiding over their own respective human colonies. Mauro and I are not the first people to point out the moral
And I want to
problems
point out
thrown
something.
up by reading the Elohim.
I want to pause right there too. What he's making a point that there were many Elohim, okay? And it also makes that clear, just to give reference to what he's saying in the scriptures when it says, you fight not just flesh and blood, but you fight principalities, okay? And when it mentions principalities, these are different levels of entities, right? That are over different regions. So there are multiple beings, is what has been stripped, not just devils and demons, because there's rankings of devils, of demons, okay? But in heaven, there are rankings too. And see, the manipulators of the word have taken out much of that when they substituted or took out the word from the original Hebrew manuscripts of Elohims, meaning many of gods that had their own regions as well, just like it says in the scriptures where they allowed that to stay. You fight not flesh and blood only, but you fight principalities, meaning you fight against levels of evil entities over different regions. So you have principalities, and I'm gonna have to get me another tool. You have principalities. When it says principalities, so when you break down those levels, you have principalities over your presidents. You have principalities, and it goes down over countries. Then you have other principalities over neighborhoods. Okay, different levels of entities that have different amounts of power. So with that being said, you have from Elohim, the original Hebrew word, there are many, a council of many gods with powers that are levels. There are levels, but they took out the word Elohim from your everything to the King James Version. They edited out Elohim. So now you don't even know that there were multiple, and I'm not talking about idols, okay? I'm talking about multiple levels of God. Okay, so that's what he's saying. That's what Elohim means.
Stories as God's stories. There were some really significant church fathers at the beginning of Christianity who pointed this out very clearly and who were wishing to nudge the church away from regarding the Hebrew scriptures as foundational for Christianity.
They didn't want, listen up, Hebrew Israelites. Listen up. I know it's a woman speaking. I'm the woman at the well, I guess. I be her. I be all the women that y'all hate as I'm talking. But here it is. They didn't want to use the original Hebrew text. Your King James is not the original Hebrew text. Let me say that one more time. Let me say that one more again. Your King James Version is not the original Hebrew text. I'm the woman at the well. Just tell me wait till Yahushua break the clouds, and then you tell him I'll hear it from him, and it'll be too late. Let's go.
15 reading that book, and yet the arguments had to be had all over again in the first 1, 2, 3, 4 centuries of Christianity. And Origen argued that if you read the Elohim stories as if they were God's stories and took them at face value, then you would end up believing in a God of whom you had to justify the most brutal actions. We would have to believe of God, he said, quote, such things as we would not believe of the most savage and unjust of men. So he pointed out very clearly there is a moral problem when you translate the Elohim stories as God's stories. I completely agree with Mauro that when the final redaction of the Hebrew canon was done in the 7th to 6th century BCE, the agenda driving that edit was an ideological one, not a grammatical one. And that is why you can have texts where the theological problem of too many gods has been cleaned up, but the grammar's
Hey, you have an hour this week, right? Yeah.
Y'all know we gotta
Great.
get to
I
the
can teach you how to
commercial.
play 100 songs on piano in an hour. No way. All you need to learn is 4 chords. These. 1, 2,
Yes,
3,
indeed.
and 4.
Yes, indeed.
Bullshit. All right, check this out. Hey, so sister, I don't
Okay, let's
wanna
skip this. Okay.
the fact that the earlier grammar of the Elohim stories survives in stories where the name Yahweh has been pasted over the top is a clue that you're not reading the original form, and a clue that the original form had more gods or advanced beings in it than the current translation wants to give
And
away.
just let me say this too. Just because it says in the original Hebrew, Elohim, more gods, don't mean that the gods were all nice to each other. Okay? The council of gods, because but I'm gonna let him talk.
And the shape of the henotheistic world remains. The stories don't make sense until you realize there are many powerful ones in the picture in competition with one another. When Abraham gives this explanation of why he moved from Ur of the Chaldees, he says, the powerful ones told me to move. And we have the Elohim, the plural form noun, and then told me to wander is a plural form verb. Now, the plural form verb is clear in the Hebrew. So that survived that 7th to 6th century BCE edit. But what that information does not survive is the translation into English. Because you translate it into English, and told me to is no different whether you've got a single or a plural subject of that verb. And so the translation into English hides the fact that Abraham is actually referencing many powerful entities. And this is why it's important to go back to the Hebrew to look at the translation of these words. This is the power of the work that Mauro has done, because as a translator of interlinear Bibles, he had to give a very precise rendering of each word in the Hebrew text with no interpretation,
And
no
no changing it.
Orthodoxization of the text. Simply report what's in the text, and then
That's
you
right.
have
Let
the
me tell you the
translation
importance
side
of
by
that.
side, and you can
I have to refer y'all back to me when I was when I worked with children, and when we wrote in their they had like a daily, just their development, their milestones, anything we observed, right? When we watched children. It wasn't just a daycare or a child center where you just tossed your children in and then came and picked them up at the end of the day. No, we actually, we went in like a diary, so to speak, of the growth of your children. But when we made these entries into your the behavior patterns and everything regarding your child, we had to just write down what we observed. We don't go in, we don't edit it by saying what we think happened or what we think the child was thinking or anything like that. We wrote down exactly what the child did, okay, in the book. Okay, Jim came in and fell on the floor and started crying. If that's what Jim did, that's what you wrote. I would not go and say Jim came in, fell on the floor. I believe he was upset today. He seemed like he was not happy coming into. No, you just added way too much. That's not even how it went down. Jim came in and fell down on the floor and started crying. Exactly what you have observed. This is the idea of what I'm trying to let you guys understand is what they're saying. They are telling you
what was the original text from Samaria, Hebrews, was edited. It was not the exact. And so what they're trying to get you to understand, if you use the exact words that were in the Hebrew text, like Elohim, which has no translation to from a plural word to a singular word as God, which is used in the editing and redacting of the scriptures in your Bibles, okay? Which changes the meaning and the storyline that you understand, which makes people confused in and of itself. Because certain things happen here that does not make sense that happen here. And it's not the fact that the Most High didn't give them the discernment of the word. It's because of the editing and the grammar of America and American words from Hebrew and Sumerian texts. Okay.
See, I've got a plural and it's been changed into a singular form word because the translators want this to be about God when it clearly isn't. I argue in the Eden series that when in the text the Elohim say, let us make the humans to look like one of us, they really do mean that. Look like is a very concrete term, and one of us is very clear. The plurality is emphasized there. If that word is translated as God, you've got a philosophical problem and you've got a grammatical problem. As soon as you translate Elohim as the powerful ones, the problem resolves. Elsewhere in Genesis 3, you have the Elohim arguing over how intelligent the human beings should be. And one of them says, we don't want the humans to be as intelligent as us. And once again, the conflict and the plurality of the language throws up a problem that even a child can recognize in the telling of the story from conventional family translations of the Bible. Those questions resolve as soon as you realize that you are reading a story about multiple Elohim conflicting over how intelligent human beings should be. Not a new story, it's actually a summary form of the conflict between Enlil and Enki in the ancient Mesopotamian stories.
Ancient Mesopotamia, Samaria, Anunnaki, the woman at the well, Samaria. There's a conflict, Enki and Enlil. I'm going to stop right here for tonight. Because I don't want to go too deep for you because I know this might be hurting your head. This is just to, if you are in the search of truth, you might want to do a little more digging, because it's out there for you. There will be no excuse for you to say that you didn't know, that you're just following people, and you have not done your own due diligence in trying to make sure you're not going down a broad road, okay? And, you know, for a lot of people who don't want to believe that this is, that this has not been manipulated and used as a weapon of oppression, a tool to control people, then you just keep reading it as a novel. Just read it as a novel. But you have to understand the key words that I asked you to remember tonight were, and to write down, were the etymology, the original form of a word. The etymology. I told you guys also to write down Elohim, the powerful ones. Elohim was the original word used in the text of Hebrews to describe many powerful ones, but it did not fit. It did not fit the plan, if you will, for the ones who were to control the masses, to use the original, the etymology of the words that they found in the original Hebrew scrolls and Sumerian texts. It did not fit their narrative, so they used the masculine term of God, a title, and in place of Elohim, the powerful ones, the many, they used a singular word title, God. And so when you read, which we went over in Genesis 1, chapter 1, and then you go to verse 26, when they changed the whole etymology of the word, and they used God a singular masculine, because God is a masculine form of that word. And God said, let us make man in our image after our likeness, and let them have dominion over the fishes. Okay, so in that just alone, if they would have kept Elohim, it would make sense, because you have people that says, well, why does it say let us make man? Let us make man. If you say Elohim said, let us make man, it makes more sense in our image, because our means it constitutes that there's more people there, are more powerful beings there. So with that being said, I'm going to stop for tonight and then pick back up, and we'll go down deeper into this study, okay? And I am out, and much love.